Good day, everybody, and welcome to the Ammunation. We are live. If you hear a dog barking in the background, do not be alarmed. It's just my little pup, Trinity. We have somebody in the neighborhood playing, setting off fireworks. So, oh, it looks like Kick is having trouble streaming. So let's take a look here.
Yeah, I've got nothing.
Yeah, yeah, I don't see it either. Okay, so we're gonna remove that. I was hoping that I could stream on Kick tonight, but I think we're just gonna remove Kick from our little thing here. So we are live on X, and we are live on YouTube. Anyway, welcome to the Ammunation. How are you tonight, Mr. Twin? With me is Irving Twin, my co-host. How are you, sir?
Living the dream, you know me.
Oh yeah, that's good.
How are you?
I'm all right. I'm doing all right. My allergies are under control. Last week it was really rough. It's been pretty rough all week, to be honest, with my allergies. But I don't think I'm as bad as Six. I know Six suffers from, what does he call it? Marchmas?
Yeah, Marchmas is a semi-seasonal event that may or may not actually occur. And I didn't know what it was until he explained it to me, and now I recognize it too. See, when February is unseasonably warm, he knows March is going to be hell on his allergies.
Right.
And I didn't know that that's true for me. So now I recognize it. When February's too warm, I'm like, oh, God damn it. Oh, this is going to be terrible.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, for me, it's been this early summer, and it's all of the flowers are having sex and jizzing in my face. So I just can't stop sneezing. I got itchy roof of the mouth, coughing. I've been having terrible shortness of breath and a terrible cough since, in the last couple of weeks. So I finally went to the doctor, and the doctor was like, yeah, it's probably allergy related. Here's a prescription for a puffer. Of course, it's a non-steroidal puffer, so it's bullshit. It doesn't do anything. Like, it helped me for like 10 minutes, and then I'm back at it again.
The regular Reactin, Claritin things don't work for you?
Reactin, Claritin, meh. They're okay. I tried using Allegra, and Allegra seems to be doing the best. So I take Allegra twice a day, and that seems to be helping the most. And I use the puffer, and I use Flonase. But yeah, I've never had allergies this bad before. But so be it. This is what it is. Tis what it is. Anyway, you don't need to talk about my old man ailments. We can move right on to
mine.
Okay, let's talk about how's your shoulder? Yeah, you messed up your shoulder bad.
Right? Yeah, I don't even know what triggered it, but it was like, oh, fucking fuck that. It's still not as bad as it's been, but there's a fun secret you can use if you're ever having like terrible cramps that can't be undone with all these competing knots. Muscle relaxants, right? Yeah. Like the ones found in Robaxacet, and that's methocarbamol, and I don't know which one. If you're lucky enough to have had this kind of severe pain, you may have been prescribed the Little Orange House. If you know what that is, good for you.
The Little Orange House. I'm not familiar with it.
The pill is a Little Orange House. It's a pentagon, and it's orange.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and it's just fantastic. Now,
do you know what it's actually called though?
I can't remember the drug name. Yeah, no. But okay, a little known side effect caused by excessive dosage or prolonged use of muscle relaxants is severe cramps and spasms. It'll actually have the exact opposite effect of which is intended. Now,
so you become like dependent on it almost.
No.
Oh.
You take too many on purpose for an extended period of time and then just stop entirely.
Okay.
And that really, really helped. Like I was taking about double what they said I should take in a day for 3 straight days, and then just waking up and go, no, I'm not doing any today. It's actually been feeling much better.
Well, that's good. Yeah, I'm doing training again. Like, so I got myself a trainer at Good Life, and I had my session today with a guy's named Nate. Cool guy. Shout out to Nate if he's watching. I doubt he is. He knows I have a YouTube channel, but I haven't gone into depth about what it is or anything. But he's a good trainer. I really appreciate all the work he's doing with me. But the last exercise today that he had me do was tricep, uh, I guess pull downs or push downs, basically, but single arm, right? And he had my hand going in a neutral position, so like this,
Yeah.
as opposed to like that or like that, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know what it was, but the first one I did, I got this shooting pain in my delts, in the back, in the
Ooh,
front, and in the middle, and in my no, what's this one here? Trap,
trap.
and in my trap, I'm like, oh, what the hell? And it wasn't even a lot of weight. I was just like, what the hell? Why did that happen? He's like, oh, you got a pain? I'm like, yeah, I don't know what the pain's from. Anyway, so I stopped using that arm, then I did the other arm, and no problem. But yeah, man, that really hurt. Anyway, I stretched it out a bit. I shrugged it out, and it ended up going away. But that was the last exercise of the day. But no, he's doing really well. He's training me very, very hard. So I appreciate all the work he's doing with me. Good day,
Nice.
Costin. Welcome. Good to see you. And you know what that means? Well, we just may as well move on to, do you even lift, bro? Have you been with your shoulder issue? Have you been going to the gym lately or no?
No, it's all therapeutic shoulder exercises.
Yeah.
Like just using the bands and hooking up to the doorknob for fucking rotator cuff, even though it's not the rotator cuff. And
Yeah.
like just but yeah, I had gone to the gym once and thought, oh, maybe that'll help. It seems like and then it was much worse.
Yeah.
So yeah, basically all this week I have not been to the gym. It's terrible. I feel really bad.
He's got me doing stretches before every workout. So the first 5 minutes or so we're doing stretches. And it's like the shoulder, where you hang basically and you just turn your arm like that, back and forth. He has me do that. And then a backpack kind of like head turn to like pull up, stretch out the trap and that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But he had me doing one today where it's basically, it was a chest supported, it was like a lying down chest supported row with a weight. But because I can't breathe very well, I couldn't do, like the first one I did like I think 18 reps, but it was murder trying to do it. And then the second one, I like got to 9 and I had to stop. He's like, what? I said, I can't do anymore. He's like, was it like muscle fatigue? And I'm like, no, I can't breathe. Like, because I'm lying on my chest and I don't have much of a breath, right? My breath volume is terrible right now with these allergies. So I can't get a full lung full of air. It's crazy. But yeah, no, I had a good workout today. It was fun. I had a good time. He puts me on at least 2 supersets every exercise
Really?
that day. Yeah. It's like, we're going to do a superset. We're going to do this and this. And I'm like, all right. Nothing's really like crazy aerobic. It's basically work a muscle group really hard, take a very brief rest and do another muscle group, then come back and forth. So
almost like a circuit.
Yeah, kind of. But it's basically, so today he had me doing leg extensions, like seated leg extensions. And then I was doing lateral raises, like front lateral raises. So more front than sort of midway between front raises and lateral raises, and then rest, and then go back to leg extensions, and then lateral raises like right after. So it was good though. But no, I'm feeling it. I think I've lost a little bit of weight, not a lot. I think maybe 5 or 6 pounds, which isn't bad. But yeah, and I'm feeling my chest. Like you can't really see it, but I can feel it. My chest, my upper chest in particular, is getting tighter, more muscular.
Muscular.
All round and muscular. Anyway, hey buddy, my cat's wanting attention here. But that's okay. You'll get back to the gym before too long. I know it.
Yeah, I mean, knock wood that it's on the mend here.
Yeah.
Because I can only drink so many days running, and that's the only thing that really has been helping with the pain directly. So
you should try some natural remedies, like, I don't know. I watched a video today about a guy who's talking about, he's in Oregon, and I guess there's a lot of plants that aren't regulated. They're completely legal to use.
Oh yeah.
And they duplicate the effects of a lot of like actual pharmaceuticals and street drugs, right? And so he went through all these different plants, like like fly amanita, the
Yeah.
the mushroom, which it's toxic. Well, basically, if you brew it down into a tea, if you take dried fly amanita and you brew it down into a tea, it's like getting drunk. And but it doesn't feel like you don't get the same like nausea that you get feeling drunk. You just feel euphoric and lightheaded.
Sick.
You don't feel stupid like you do when you drink a lot.
Hmm.
I know you
So
don't feel stupid when you drink a lot. Hey, Six, good to see you.
it's something interesting. So the Viking berserkers,
Mm-hmm.
uh, they knew about the fly amanita,
Mm-hmm.
and they also knew the effect of eating it, which would get you fucking stoned as shit, right?
Sure.
Like trippy euphoria, but also make you feel violently ill.
Yeah.
But they had somehow figured out that as it passes through your body, all the toxins are removed, but the psychedelics keep working.
Oh,
So,
interesting.
so one brave berserker would eat a fuck ton of fly amanita and get fucked up and be in terrible, terrible pain.
And if you
And
foaming at the mouth, hence the berserker.
he'd pee in the mead. And yeah, he'd just keep peeing in the mead, and they would drink the mead because filtered out are all the toxins. So now they're only getting the euphoric feeling.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. And then they'd go into battle biting their shields, wearing wolf skins, believing they're animals.
That's funny.
Oh, fuck yeah.
That's hilarious. Yeah, he went over a couple of them. One was kava, I guess. It's a Southeast Asian kind of it's an alcohol that's basically uh made from a I guess it's like a root that you grind down into a pulp, and then you just rinse it and wash it and rinse it. I think that's what kava is. He did a bunch of them. And that's another one that basically gives you the same sort of feeling of being drunk but not drunk, kind
Hmm.
of like how in Star Trek they had synthahol, which was like alcohol, but it didn't have any of the side effects like fucking, hangovers and shit like that. It just
Sounds
helped you.
nice.
Yeah, exactly, right? It just made you feel euphoric and kind of loopy, and then you fell asleep, and that was it. So a lot of these things sound really interesting.
And
And
then there's Arag.
Kava's been banned in Canada because it's very much because people are like, oh, it's
Cultural
like alcohol.
appropriation.
Well, there you go. It's alcohol, and these white, you know, colonizers can't be taking uh, Southeast Asian
Do
medicinal ritual drugs. So
do you think
anyway,
there's laws against Arag?
I don't know what's Arag.
So, Mongols,
Yeah.
to this day, first thing in the morning, right? You go milk the horse.
Oh no.
You milk the mare into a
Yeah.
leather bag, right? Get all the air out, seal it up, throw it up on the roof, leave it in the sun. By
Okay.
the end of the day, you come drink the fermented mare's milk and get fucked up.
Yeah. Why not? Now that wouldn't work with pasteurized cow's milk like we drink, though, right?
No, no, I don't think so. Has to be
Six says real
fresh,
bourbon
fresh
is
from the
greater than synthahol. Yeah, no doubt. Real alcohol is always better than the synthetic. And then Constance says, I acknowledge the existence of the next 6 minutes. Six isn't evil, like you filthy Torontonian. You're not
Yeah.
really a Torontonian. You're a Tobacocan. Are you just drinking Diet Coke tonight, or are you drinking anything a little bit more hard?
I'm gonna drink something more exciting in a little bit. I just don't want to get started too soon and be all sloppy by the end.
All good. I hear you,
Because we
man.
have some real stuff to discuss. So
We definitely do. Definitely do. First and foremost, I want to share the screen here. Something. It's not. We don't have a banner for it, but I'm gonna share the screen anyway. A little memento. So there is a protest happening in major cities all across Canada this coming Monday, Canada Day, our 157th anniversary of Confederation, called the Take Back Canada protest. And they shall not steal our future. So you can register or RSVP that you're going. Word has it, Canada Man is making an appearance to the one at Queen's Park. So hopefully
Yeah.
somebody gets some video of that and pictures of that. That should be interesting to see.
Well,
Don't
I'm
know if
heading
it's gonna
down. Are
happen.
you going?
Yeah, I guess why not, right? I mean, I could be his operational support, while he's there. If you're going down, then I'll go. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how
Yeah,
he's
I
gonna
never
get
go to
there
these
because
things.
the Canada Man mobile's in the shop, and the Canada Man jet uh, was blown up by terrorists. So I don't know how he's gonna get there.
Oh yeah, that's right. Fucking Six's book is out.
Yeah, yeah,
Book
but you
two.
know what? I can't get it on Amazon.ca. It's only on Amazon.com. If I try and
Oh
order it
fuck.
from my .ca, I can't. Now I could order it. I guess I could order it from the .com and have it sent to my U.S. mailing address. I'll just have to do that. Sorry, Six, I have not ordered it yet, but I will.
I hate to be a dick, but can you order two?
Yeah, for sure.
All right,
Yep,
and
yep.
I'll get you back.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, I don't know when I'm going to the U.S. again, but anyway. So, folks, if you are
It's never long.
a Canadian and wish to go to the Take Back Canada protest, it's happening on July 1st. So that's 1 day, 12 hours, 42 minutes, and 48 seconds. Will you stand on guard for thee, they say? Here's the blurb. The hour is upon us when our nation's destiny hangs in the balance. This Canada Day, Monday, July 1st, we make a stand. On July 1st, we fight for the Canada we love, the fair Dominion, where freedom, liberty, and dignity once flourished, and where the hard work and sacrifices of Canadians before us promised a bright and prosperous future. So this is largely a protest regarding government failures, but it's specifically to do with the failures with regards to the immigration policies. How there have been far too many coming in without proper credentialing, and we've basically it's become a
Honestly,
situation. Sorry,
honestly, with or without proper credentialing, it's
it's too many.
too many too quickly,
Yeah.
and Calgary's infrastructure just fell apart.
Yes, that's right. They
Right
have no
there,
water right now.
there's got to be 500,000 more cars on the road in Toronto over the past 5 years, if 5 years. You know what I mean? Like it's insane. It's just ridiculous.
It really is. So they've got them. Here's where they're happening. These are where they're confirmed. So Kingston, Montreal, Kitchener, Ottawa, Toronto, Edmonton, Calgary, and Vancouver. Those are confirmed, and then there's some that are unconfirmed. St. John's, Halifax, Fredericton, Quebec City, Winnipeg, Charlottetown, Regina, and Victoria. So basically, every major city across the country is having a protest of this sort. I don't know what we're going to see when we get down there, how many people are going to be there. They have some rules. So basically, the only flag they want to see flown is a Canadian flag. They ask that people don't bring the fuck Trudeau flags. They don't bring anything else, but because it is Canada Day, right? And I get
That's
it,
true.
but no protesting other issues. Canadian flags only. No hateful signs or messages. So like fuck Trudeau. As much as we'd like to say it, and as much as when you see the flag, you're like, yeah, that's right, f him. Uh, I think they want to keep the protest positive because of the controversy surrounding the issue. It's kind of a third rail kind of issue where if you say, hey, I want to talk about immigration in Canada, people's ears prick up and immediately they're thinking this guy's a xenophobe, this guy's white supremacist, this guy's whatever, right? So in this sense, I think they want to make it, hey, let's just talk about the issues. Excuse me, let's just talk about the failures of government, yada yada yada, right? So no aggressive behavior, keep an open mind and agree to disagree. It's all good. Like this sounds like here's your standard peaceful protest rules, right? So we'll see what happens. I don't know what to expect, but interested in seeing it. So if you are not doing anything on Canada Day, and even if you are doing something on Canada Day, I think it's probably worth the while making a trip to one of the cities here and making your voice heard. It's too bad that CMAC doesn't watch our channel anymore. She'd know all about. There's one in Kingston. She could be going to that, but that's okay. Maybe she'll stop by at some point. Who knows? Anyway, So yeah, Take Back Canada protest Monday, July 1st. I think they're all starting around 11 a.m. At all locations. So see how it goes.
So yeah, like I've been neglecting going to these things because I hate driving into Toronto,
Yeah,
like into Toronto proper, and
I
yeah,
agree.
but so someone I know though does go regularly and brings her
Mm-hmm.
kid, right?
To Toronto, yeah, to the
Yeah,
protests and
and
stuff.
yeah, and like for a while there, it was like almost every weekend at Queen's
Oh
Park.
wow.
Yeah, and she would go all the time, bring the kids, right? Nothing super
That's
exciting happening. People are
yeah,
cool. You know, like
yeah.
look what happened when 40,000 angry right-wing Nazis went to the Capitol. Who bit
Cat
you?
bit my leg. My cat bit my leg, and it made me like raise my knee, and it hit the table, and it freaked out the dog and freaked out the cat. Cat gets a little bit pet aggressive. You pet him too much, and he likes to nibble. And so this time he
I
decided to
see.
just go on my bare thigh on the back of my leg. I'm like, what the fuck? And it didn't even
What?
really hurt, but it surprised me enough that it made me kick my knee.
Sure. Thing
And
with cats is like, why don't you just leave? Why do you got to bite and claw? Just leave. Like two steps away, and he's not
I
going to chase you.
it's true. No, I have a feeling it's not even the bite and claw. I think it's almost like it's a playful bite, right? It's like it's like stimulated bite, kind of like I think all cats deep down inside are into whips and chains. They'd probably be into the S&M if they were humans. I think every one of them,
Right, right.
because I don't know if this is dogs too, but cats when they get into uh, intimate situation, the males will bite on the back of the head of
Yeah.
the females, right, to hold them in place. So anyway, do dogs do that? I have no idea.
Yeah.
They do?
Sometimes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
interesting. Anyway, bit of a digression there. Yeah, I'd be interested in going. I haven't been to any of the protests for anything, and for the amount that I jab and gab about issues that are important to me, I never seem to make myself known. I bet you Wycliffe will be there.
Yeah, I wouldn't be
I should
surprised.
message him and ask if he's planning on being there.
Because we'll I lost my train of thought. I haven't even had a drink. What the fuck?
You said we'll do something.
Yeah.
We'll get a
No,
box of
like we'll
donuts.
we'll we'll go. We'll hang out with Canada Man, get some sweet footage.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah, and I imagine Wycliffe probably does the same thing, right? Like
Yeah, he'll get and talk to people and get some footage.
protesting is for
Protesting is
effort.
for F
Yeah.
slurs.
Well, I mean, look, we're avowed keyboard warriors, right?
That's right.
I just scream into the internet so that I don't do it at parties.
That's right. You don't do it nearly enough, though. You need to be doing it more. And I don't scream it at parties unless I've been drinking or unless I'm doing it just to poke the bear, just for fun. I don't scream. I'll just make, offhand comments about stuff that is far too niche for any of my normie friends to understand, but they'll know that it's vaguely has something to do with, my fringe belief system.
Fringe belief system.
That's right. I'm an unacceptable fringe, remember?
Yeah. Speaking of, I just saw something. I have this one friend on
Oh,
Facebook,
yeah.
and man, there's this post about having a conversation with the significant other about the current state of politics in the United States, a very sad conversation. And significant other says, before we start inviting our American friends to come live here, remind them that the conservatives are set to win the next election. Right? It's like, what the fuck are you talking? Like, I've stopped talking to this person, especially over Facebook, because all her significant other and all of her friends are all like far left authoritarians. Like,
Oh yeah,
what? Oh yeah, like wildly, like at this point, still love Trudeau.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm friends with a high school buddy who I used to work at the gas station with when I was a kid, and I knew him in high school. And he's now like a really talented photographer. He has his own YouTube channel as well. I'm not going to plug his name because I don't want him to necessarily be called out on this. Uh, but basically, I was there. He made a post about the debate. We'll talk about the debate in a few minutes. But he made a post about the debate between Trump and Biden and how it was like basically it was a train wreck. It was like it was like a sad, pathetic joke or something like that. I'm like, yeah, you laugh, but with one of them you're laughing because you enjoy laughing, and the other one you laugh, but you lament that you're laughing. And then he says, yeah, but they're so and so is this, and so like Trump is this, and Biden is that, and then he's talking to somebody else in the same post and said, yeah, these are the two that they have. It's terrible. I prefer Nikki Haley or Liz Cheney. And I'm like, I'm not sure if he's serious. I almost posted the fry, not sure if serious, right? But I'm like, are you serious? Nikki Haley or Liz? Yeah, they have integrity. I'm like, what? What are you talking about? I have a feeling they were being sarcastic. I like to hope that they were being sarcastic, but yeah. Anyway, we may as well get on to it.
Oh, just before we do,
Sure.
oh no, the conservatives are going to win the next election. I felt like commenting, like, don't worry, Canadian conservatives are still incredibly far left authoritarians.
That's right.
You'll be
That's right.
fine.
Yeah, they've got the banter down to make the normies go, yeah, I believe in that. One down.
One down.
You
And
know
the
who I'm
one,
speaking about.
it's Joe Biden.
Joe Biden. He basically committed seppuku on Thursday night for everybody watching CNN to see. He essentially sacrificed himself. That's my point of view anyway. Um, this debate was set up in such a way so as to make him look bad and to give him an out to say I have to step down. So and so will be my replacement or whatever. I don't think he'll step down as president. That's the thing. I think what he'll do is I'm bowing out of the race right around the time of the Democratic primary. I wouldn't be surprised if it is preempted by either an episode where he's speaking and he has a Mitch McConnell moment where he just stops and freezes, or he has a mea culpa, says I cannot do this anymore. I can't run, and I'm going to basically step aside and let Kamala Harris run things from here on out. I don't know that he'll do that, but I do think that he's going to bow out of the race. I think he's going to either have a fall. He's going to be a very public fall, and the concern is that he hit his head. Secret Service will come out making a statement. Yes, he was rushed for treatment to such and such center, blah blah blah, and then he's going to come up and make a statement says I'm no longer seeking the presidency or re-election, but I will continue out my term as president, kind of thing.
Oh, all of these things are disastrous for the Democrats, right? Like,
yeah, there are people saying that if Newsom is the waiting in the wings and he becomes the nominee, that he'll beat Trump. And I'm like, I don't think so. I don't.
Did you see the look on his face?
Who, Newsom?
Oh yeah. Oh,
no,
this big smile. This big smile. Or Senator, or is he? No, Governor, right?
Governor Newsom. Yeah.
Governor Newsom, are you going to be replacing Joe Biden as the potential nominee? No, I'm not. No, I support Joe Biden and the Democratic Party support. And he's just this huge shit-eating grin. But here's the problem.
Yeah.
Outside of Democrats, outside of California, Gavin Newsom is universally hated.
He's nobody like in California. He's universally hated in California. I was saying that if Newsom ends up being the nominee, Trump has a good chance of winning California because he's so reviled there. California is a failed fucking state, and everybody there blames Newsom. They don't blame Trump. They maybe blame Biden a little bit, but they more blame Newsom than anything else. They see that he's the slimiest of slime balls sitting in the governor's office. He's a terrible fucking governor. He is so hated. Now, they tried to do a recall election and they failed. You would think that, but that was shortly after he got elected.
He's not hated enough.
He's had since then to like fuck up the entire entire state, like terribly. I think if he ends up being the nominee, Democrats love him. You're right, but nobody who isn't a Democrat likes him. It'd be like putting Gretchen Whitmer up there. Gretchen Whitmer is hated, and she would lose Michigan. So anyway, Frank Blaskowitz says, "What are unanticipated blowback from all these obvious manipulations?" I think Biden or whoever the Democrat is still going to lose. Pox says, "Imagine listening to a woman about."
Yeah. That was about my friend.
Yeah. I think regardless of what happens, Biden is still going to lose. Either Biden's going to lose and Donald Trump is going to replace him, or the Democrats are going to, being communists who care nothing about, care only about power and nothing else, will do whatever they can to keep that from happening. Because all of these things are saying that they're going to say, oh, Donald Trump's going to go after all of us. If he gets into power, he's going to go after the media. I'm like, no, he's not. But that's exactly what you would do if you were in power.
They're doing it now.
You've tried to put him in jail already. Actually, he's being sentenced on the 11th, eh? Yeah, they're doing it now. They're sentencing him on the 11th, eh? For the New York trial where he's convicted.
Yeah.
See what happens. If he was, oh, he won't go to my father. I was like, he's not. They're not going to put him in jail. He's not going. I'm like, are you? Have you been paying attention? They are trying to destroy him. Do you think they're all of a sudden going to back off and say we can't put a former president in jail? Come on now. They absolutely will put him in jail.
They've been working with the Secret Service to determine the logistics of having his Secret Service detail in the prison, right?
Yeah.
So they're basically going to have to put like a trailer,
in the yard
outside the walls of the prison, so that he can have Secret Service detail around him at all times, right?
Right. Or it'll be in the prison, but it'll be a cordoned off area of the yard, kind of thing. Yeah.
Like, but outside the building,
outside the main building,
inside the fences.
Yeah. Yeah, I could see that happening. I have a feeling though, Merchan may be starting to step back because finally the Senate is going after these cases and these rulings. Like, I don't know if you watch what's her name, Harriet Hagerman. Is that her name, Hagerman? Senator Hagerman. She's a very severe looking woman, but she's like on point. She's been going after these trials, these sham trials, these kangaroo courts that have been going on with regards to Trump, and how they're all illegitimate and bullshit. They're trying to save Bannon. They're trying to save the other guy who's been convicted for failing to appear at after a congressional subpoena. Like, all these charges are bullshit. The Supreme Court just came down and said, "Hey, yeah, these January 6ers, you're holding them way too long. They should be freed. All those convictions are overturned, essentially."
Well, I know 2 judges, that have basically come out and taken Trump's side.
Mm-hmm.
One of them famous, one of them active, and actually dismissed the case against Trump.
Yeah.
The famous one, Judge Judy.
Oh, cool.
During an interview, she was like, I'm a New York City property owner. I would much rather that the DA went after criminals rather than this nonsense.
Because they're the ones lowering the value of my properties, not Donald Trump.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And do you remember the video of that lady judge who was saying, look, with a record this long or whatever, you've been released on probation multiple times. It can't be done, right? You have to have some real consequences for your actions. Oh, hell no. And he leaps over the fucking, do you remember seeing this?
Yeah, I've seen that, yeah.
The guy leaps and it is like attacking her.
Mm-hmm.
It takes several minutes for guards to get him off her and shit.
Yeah.
She's She's the judge that dismissed a case against Trump outright.
Yeah.
Just like, nope, fuck this nonsense.
Yeah. This is
Oh yeah,
clearly
that
politically motivated.
experience made her like hardcore pro-Trump, pro-law and
Yeah.
order.
Yeah, no, I mean, I can totally understand that. Yeah, and not only that, I mean, I would say the vast majority of judges out there are decent judges, and deserve to be where they are. But there's just a few out there like Merchan and Engeron. Is that his name?
What does Viva Fry call him? Nipple Judge Engeron?
Nipple judge. Yeah, because he has he posed with one of those like mesh shirts where you could see his nipples underneath it or something like that.
I never understood the reference, but he just called him that. I was like, all right, let's run with it.
Yeah. Yeah, they're I think they're starting to see the writing on the wall that these things are going to be overturned on appeal.
Yeah.
And further to that, somebody's going to come after you for your blatant corruption in these cases, like clear bias, clear judicial malpractice. So,
right, like this, they did it on purpose so that they could start shrieking about 34 felonies,
right.
Even though there's a huge chance that it will be overturned on appeal.
Yeah.
And they're sentencing before the appeal.
Yeah,
right. So like they're working really hard to put him in an orange jumpsuit as quick as possible.
Oh yeah, they did. The whole thing is that I think what they believe is if they vilify Trump to their base, it will animate them and get them to come out and support the Democrat nominee. Here's the thing that the Democrats, I don't know, if it wasn't for cheating and it wasn't for their diehard base, they would never win an election. Because independents don't go for the shit they go for, and they don't ever try and win independents. They are ideologically possessed towards appealing to fringe groups, like the far left, as they call them, and basically liberal white women. It's essentially their core, right?
Yeah.
So the notion is that you're going to animate people to go out. Well, they already go out for you. There's nobody who's just sort of like a passive Democrat who you're going to, they see that stuff is going to go, yes, now I'm determined more than ever to make sure that, no. And the independents aren't convinced by it. As a matter of fact, independents are basically going the other way because they realize this is all horseshit. Anybody who's even paying attention, to 10% of what's going on in the courts with regards to the Trump indictments, they all understand it's horseshit, unless they have TDS, unless they are diehard, Democrats, dyed-in-the-wool Democrats kind of thing.
Well, I mean, they do. Like immediately after the debate, like it was like I was watching it online. I think I was watching CBS's feed of CNN's debate.
Yeah.
And immediately after the debate is over, they're like, well, Donald, post-debate analysis, Donald Trump is a liar and Joe Biden had a cold. If you disagree with this, we'll tell you why you might be a dangerous extremist. And like they spun it right off the bat.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually, like, you were saying that you think this was set up to fail Biden.
Yes.
I think they're clinging desperately. And I think they believed they could pump him full of drugs and prop him up for 90 minutes and it would be okay. But I realize now, exactly like in the first time Donald Trump was running, they made the mistake of letting him talk.
Yeah.
Right? That with the microphone cutoffs, they could only let Donald Trump talk. Otherwise, it would look unfair.
Right.
But the cutoff microphone wasn't.
It actually helped Trump.
It was to protect Biden from Biden, because you were saying, "Oh, he's going to have a Mitch McConnell moment." He did.
Yeah.
He stopped mid-sentence, and there was like a 3-second gap, and they just went, "Thank you, Mr. President," and his mic was off then.
Yeah.
And then they cut the camera. They usually have them both up while they're both while one of them's talking. But they would cut the camera away from Biden a lot.
Yeah,
because
they
he's
kept it
just
on
sitting there
Trump
like
the
this.
entire time. Yes, yeah, and I don't know what he was looking at. He was reading something. I
Nothing.
don't think.
He's just drifting off, right? And I think that when he froze mid-sentence and they cut
Yeah.
off his mic before the time was over and then moved away from him, he was having that Mitch McConnell moment, that
Oh, it might
frozen
have.
moment.
Yeah, very well might have. No, I have a feeling this was basically planned. I think they either gave him just sugar pills or salt pills. They didn't give him the actual Adderall that he's been taking. Um, they basically they faked it on him. He thought he was going to be all perfect. He thought he was going to be great, and maybe there was a placebo effect because he was cogent for a little bit, but but not long. Like it didn't take long for him to just completely
No, I mean,
spit out marbles. But no, I have a feeling the idea is like there's a camp within the Democrat, powers that be that are saying no, we must keep him, we must keep him, we must, we can't replace him at this point. He's the guy, he stepped up when nobody else could, blah blah blah. And then there's a camp that's like, we got to get rid of him, we got to get rid of him, we got to get rid of him, and they're
sure.
sort of infighting. And I have a feeling that basically it's when push comes to shove, Biden's going to realize he can't run. He can't be president another 4 years, and he's going to step down, not necessarily from the presidency, but at least step out of the race for 2024.
Yeah, I mean that seems possible, but it also like there's everything is a disaster for the Democrats right now because they'll always look, if this is the right guy and this is the right administration and this is the right party, why are we
Right.
switching leaders midstream?
Right.
Right? You're supposed to run back-to-back terms
Right.
because you're so good, but we're switching leaders midstream. I don't have 4 years of Gavin Newsom, right? I don't have 4 years of whoever would replace Biden. I had 4 years of Biden, and even as a devout Democrat, vote blue no matter who, I
Yeah.
might not have the confidence to vote for somebody else and might just not vote. Like,
No.
there's no situation where the leadership is going through massive change and people remain confident, right? And
Yep.
this is something from my brother-in-law, CFA, does the
Yep.
investments, technicals, fundamentals, all perfectly sound. But if the sentiment isn't there, it's going to
Yeah.
come apart, right? You can be destroyed by sentiment. And Tim Pool was saying this about the debates. People don't remember what they said.
No. They
People
remembered.
remember how they felt, right? And they felt that Trump is a liar, but confident and strong. Biden said some of the things that I thought I wanted to hear, except I couldn't understand him. So very weak, very shallow. You know, that's what people are going to remember. And you can't have that as your leadership. And then you switch your leadership. It's like, ooh, they feel tricked. They feel bait and switched. And they won't want
It's
to.
true.
They won't want to vote for the Democrats. So they're going to have to make up a lot more than 81 million fake votes, right? Like
Exactly.
it's going to be a lot
Um,
harder to cheat this time around.
it's true. I want to share something real quick.
Is this what Pox was sending us?
Yeah, he sent us something here. Hold on.
Is it that video?
No, I'll show you. So first it's, if you only knew the the thing.
The thing.
And then I sent something here. One sec here. Uh, so this is a meme of a little kid trying to get his words out, and then somebody basically used AI to make it look and sound like Biden. So here we go. You see this?
No,
You can't see it?
you're sharing the wrong window.
Oh, how about now?
There it is. Yeah.
All right.
Have you ever had a dream that you had you could you do you want you could do so you do you want him to do you so much you could do anything? Have you ever had a dream?
But he's
Fuck.
also got the Jim Carrey Dumb and Dumber haircut.
Yeah, he's got the little kid's haircut. Have you not seen the original meme? It's like it's cute. It's just this
Yeah.
little kid trying to get his words out, and those are the words that the kid. Those are the words that the kid's saying. But this
Yeah.
genius here, whoever did it, basically, yeah, fucking. Yeah, it's hilarious.
Oh yeah, that's pretty good. Pretty good.
I've got a couple more. Well,
But do we
one
want to
down
talk
was
about the content? Do we want to talk about the content of the debate? Some of it.
it was all the same shit that they're going to talk about immigration. Are you fit for the office? That kind of stuff, right? I love the fucking the golf fucking argument they had. That was
Well,
hilarious.
except it was actually key,
Yeah.
right? You're not much younger, President Trump. How are you going to fare? Well, I've taken cognitive tests, taken 2 of them. I aced them all, aced them both,
He
right?
said they'd never
And
seen anybody ace them. Yeah, in his typical fashion. I just won 2 back-to-back championships, not senior championships, just 2
right, no,
champions.
but he had said, look, and I do physicals. I've been doing physicals every year. They say I'm in great shape, and he said knock wood, because obviously even at 78, you don't know you have an aneurysm in your brain,
Right.
right? So do the physicals, everything seems good, and then an example, right? Like a real world example of how my cognitive and physical fitness played into it.
Yeah.
Golf, I'm winning golf tournaments and not seniors tournaments, right?
Yeah.
That's
No,
the
it's
way you do it.
important.
Like, because he was so laser focused, and
Yeah.
he was so the perfect combination of Donald Trump and not Donald Trump, that it was wild. Like,
Yeah.
he brought
Yeah,
his
and
A game
again,
to
I
the
think
debate.
the cutting of the mic, it kind of helped him because there's
Yeah.
no point in him talking if the mic's not on. So and he knows that, so he just stopped and he let what's the never stop your opponent when they're making a mistake. That
Yeah.
basically let him speak. Biden did, or not Biden, Obama did that to Mitt Romney back. I don't remember seeing the debate. Romney was calling him out on something. It was one of those town halls where they wander back and forth. They're on their feet, blah blah blah.
Mm.
Romney's calling him out on something, trying to nail him on something that he did during his presidency, and Obama almost interrupts him to correct him, and he's like, "Nope, you know what? Please finish." And he let Romney say what he was going to say, and it turned out it was completely wrong. It was a total fabrication, and Obama made him eat his own words right there on the stage, which is an amazing. That's such a coup if you can do that in a debate. Make your opponent eat their own words in the debate, like he has to basically the truth comes out to the point where it's not just a matter of difference of opinion or difference of
Yeah.
worldviews or difference of citations. This is like you said something that was factually wrong, and here's how you were factually wrong. And this is before the age of fact checkers, right?
Yeah.
Anyway.
I did see some analysis from the Lotus Eaters, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And Sargon.
Yep.
I can't call him Carl. Doesn't sound right.
Yeah. I always go in with Sargon of Akkad. Yeah.
He's Sargon, yeah. He was saying Trump. He thinks Trump was actually about as nice as he could be to a doddering old man
Yes.
who was put there, right? That he could have been way worse. He could have gone at him on such Trump ways, and he didn't. He felt bad for him.
Right.
He really had empathy for the man next to him.
Well, and I don't know if you've noticed this or not, but Trump's been doing interviews and making the circuit. And apart from when he does his rallies, when he starts talking smack and stuff, he's actually when he's doing interviews, he's a lot more mellow. He's a lot calmer. Now, mind you, he's been smart in picking who he's doing interviews with. So he's doing interviews with guys like Dr. Phil. He's doing interviews with people who are, peers. People are going to basically give him a fair shake, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Not try and misrepresent what he's saying. Not try and catch him, so to speak. And he's been very, very sort of mellow. Like when they were talking about revenge, right? Hannity asked him, "So, are you going to take revenge?" And he's like, "Only on the first day, I'm going to close the borders." He's like, "No, but with revenge." It's like my revenge will be my success. I'm going to succeed, and I'm going to show them. That's
The
how I'll
best
get my
revenge is
revenge.
living well.
That's
Have
right.
you ever
That's so true.
Have you ever seen this movie called The Last Castle?
No, I don't think I have.
Great movie. I think it's Robert Redford. Is that his name?
Okay.
And
Like a World War II type movie?
no, it's
Okay.
prison.
Oh, okay.
but military prison. And basically, the prisoners think they're being mistreated and want to take over the prison. So this leader guy is finally convicted of something or other, and he decides he's going to lead them. And what they do is they fake like a hostage situation.
Okay.
And it's actually, what's his name that played Tony Soprano?
Oh,
James Gandolfini. He's he's the warden. And the warden pulls out all the stops. Oh my God, these guards come out of this place with this kind of equipment, and the water cannon comes out of here, and they've got a helicopter in the air. But nothing had happened. They prodded him. He showed his ass. Now they know what they're up against. I think Donald Trump may feel significantly calmer because 4 years of a presidency and 4 years of being able to watch and analyze, he knows what he's up against now. And he knows that his strategy is going to be immaculate because right now they are all over the place. Like they are suffering from serious infighting, and he sees it. He sees what's going on with their leader, supposedly.
Right.
And yeah, I think he's very cool, calm, collected, and has a much better idea of what he's up against and how he needs to go at it.
I think you're right. And I think also it's a matter of I think he's also, even though he's not president currently, I think he's also thinking of his legacy. Like he spent his first term being bombastic, and being this wild card that's unpredictable, that made the media go into conniption fits every time he said something. And I think he's also thinking, you know what? I know we're going to do good. I know, if I can implement the things I want to implement, it's going to make America better, and things are going to go back in a solid direction for America. Yada yada yada. But I think he's also thinking, I want to be known as one of the better presidents, because he does have an ego, right? I think he wants to be known as the best president in the history of the United States. He wants that fucking title, right? And Republicans have their mythology, right? Democrats too. Kennedy was their guy. You know what I mean? Bill Clinton was their guy. These guys were they're like the demigods for the Democrats. Reagan was the guy for the Republicans. I think Trump wants to supplant Reagan as being the best, so to speak.
Can you imagine? It's the perfect example of the concept of the virtue of selfishness. Being so egotistical that you become a good person and benevolent leader so that you can be remembered as a good person and benevolent leader.
Right?
All fucking out of ego.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you have to have a bit of an ego. You have to be a bit of an, I don't want to say narcissist because that term gets thrown around all the time now, but you do have to have a bit of an ego to even seek a career in politics. Like, yeah, you can be self-interested and think, I'm gonna fly below the radar, do as much graft as I can, and make money and get out. I'm sure there's lots of politicians who did that, but I think the vast majority of the ones who are still sticking around are there purely for ego. And the train's been the gravy train's been so fucking filling for so long that they just can't stop eating from it. You know what I mean? So
see, but Donald Trump has been, not of his own doing, he's been asked about a presidential run and the possibility of a career in politics since like the mid 90s.
Yes, it's true.
And he was like, no, I wouldn't do it. No,
he
God,
would
I have
say
other
things would have to get really bad. That's what he always said. That says, look, I just don't think it's for me. I might do it one day if things in the United States, in America, get really really bad, then I might do it. And I guess it just got bad enough for him, right? He didn't. It's not. It was like basically,
right?
No, he didn't. It was he's probably looking at it like, I could get into this for what? I make more money, playing golf in an afternoon than I would being president. And it's not like I can basically, I'm not a Rockefeller in that sense. I'm not a Rothschild where I want to insinuate myself into power structures for the purposes of further enriching myself. Right?
Didn't have to.
Didn't have to. He was already rich, right? So yeah, no, it's crazy. I think he's one of those last true American tycoons who are just like, they want to be they want to be known as successes because of the things that they accomplished, not just how much wheeling and dealing they did. You know what I mean? Like,
Mm.
I don't know.
I do love that comic. I don't think it's Stone Toss, but it's basically a description of how people think of Donald Trump when they say, "Oh, his father loaned him $1 million. That's the only reason he's rich and I'm not." It's like, hold on. The comic shows a guy with $1 million loan, and then he slips on a banana peel and falls on his ass. What? Multiple billions of dollars? Like,
It's true.
99% of people, if you handed them $1 million, they'd be broke in 5 years. They'd be exactly where they were before you gave them $1 million.
Right. Well, it's like anything,
They
right?
don't know what to do with it.
Not only do they not know what to do with it, but when you have a windfall like that, it's not, you don't appreciate it the same as you. It's like when you get given something as opposed to you earn it.
It's a form
You know
of
what I mean?
panic.
You don't appreciate it, right? So, for instance, you're a kid, right? And your parents don't have a lot of money, and you say, "Yeah, I want to get this bike. I saw this bike in the back of my Spider-Man number 167 comic book, and it looks really cool. I want to buy that bike. I want that bike. Dad can have that bike." And Dad says, "Look, we can't afford it. If you want that bike, you're gonna have to get yourself like a part-time job, or you're gonna have to mow some lawns or whatever. Make some money to get that bike." So the kid does that, and then he earns all his money. He finally gets enough money to get the bike, and he fucking loves that bike. And that bike represents every bit of sweat that he poured into his job. Then the kid goes, "Hey, Dad, this bike in the back of the comic book, Spider-Man 167. I really want it." And Dad's like rich. He's like, "Yeah, sure, I'll get it for you, no problem." Buys him the bike. Kid doesn't appreciate it. He doesn't care for it. He rides it around because it's novelty. It's the first little bit, but eventually he doesn't wash it. He doesn't oil the chain. He just leaves it. He just leaves it there up against the fence in the rain, and it gets rusty and it gets shitty, and the fucking the rubber handles start to deteriorate because they've been left out in the sun. And he just doesn't give a shit about it because he didn't work for it. It was just given to him. That's a metaphor for what we were talking about.
Well, then there's my personal story where I did work my ass off, bought my bike, expensive for me, not expensive as bikes go.
Yeah.
And but then I was in my late teens, early 20s, and had a car and wasn't riding the bike so much.
Right.
So I hauled this fucking bike on my shoulder up the ladder into the loft of the garage.
Okay.
Turned it upside down, right, balancing on the seat and the handlebars to save the rims and the tires.
Yeah.
And left it there. And a couple years later, I was like, "Oh, you know what? I should go for a bike ride." And I went look. I was like, "Dad, where's my bike?" "Oh, I sold it."
You were using it.
Yeah, it's been up there for years.
Yeah, but it's still my bike. I worked hard for that bike. Yeah.
It was more. It wasn't so much I was upset like about the bike being sold, because that's true.
You weren't using
at
it.
this
You didn't
point,
have
basically
it.
you just owe me money for the bike at this point.
Yeah.
But outside of that, I was inconvenienced at the moment because I really wanted to go for a bike ride just then.
But you're a grown man now. You're making lots of money. You could just go buy a bike if you want one at that point, right?
I suppose I could have got, but I don't have a bike right now between my legs to ride this minute like I felt like I wanted,
Yeah, it's like when you want a cheeseburger, but there's no cheeseburger places open. I hear you. I'm just noticing. I got that Reed Richards shit going on real hard tonight. See the white?
Nice.
Yeah, I'm Reed Richards in it up. Anyway.
Sexy.
So we got one down. Next to go. Let's talk about it. The next one to go. Hold on a second here. Uno momento, por favor.
Oh, there was a Babylon Bee headline. I never read the articles. I just see the headlines. Dozens of Democrats and Democrat supporters line up.
Hold on. Sorry. Please keep going.
Line up to claim they were sexually assaulted by Donald Trump's vice president, whoever that may be.
Right. Yeah.
And I think that's part of a strategy exactly for that. That in the very short time before the first vice presidential debate,
Mm-hmm.
they won't have time to come up with a good smear. And
Who do you
it'll
think
be
it's going to be?
easily. I
Who do
have
you think
no
is
idea.
I'm hearing a lot of rumblings about it's going to be Vivek Ramaswamy.
I don't know, man. Apparently he's not that great. He's saying all the right things now
Yeah.
and did all the wrong things at the moment. Like he's the Pierre Poilievre of the Republican Party, right? When it mattered, he didn't do it.
You think he's a grifter?
I mean, most of them are. That's a pretty safe assumption out the gate. Start from you're probably a grifter. Prove me wrong, and
Yeah.
you're going to be right most of the time, and you're gonna keep yourself safe that way. Yeah. When I first saw him, that was when I first heard about him. Right? Oh, he's saying all these things just like Trump does, but apparently during actual Trump's administration, he was not working with Trump, and he was voting against certain ideas that we wouldn't
Yeah.
support. So
So this is
Let-
next to go. Let's one moment, please. Where is it here?
is this real?
This is real.
Unpopular Justin Trudeau humiliates himself crashing Markham's Asian Food Festival Friday using a massive taxpayer-funded police entourage to dance like a fool in search of selfies to feed his narcissism. Okay.
Instead of dancing, what about salsa?
What did that guy say? Instead of dancing, what about what?
I didn't hear it, but that's less important to me. If you need to do it, focus on that for now. But don't leave this video.
What's that?
Let's figure out what that guy was saying. But don't leave.
Yeah, I got it.
There's something I want to address here.
Instead of dancing, what about salsa?
What about Gaza?
Okay, sure.
Okay.
So yeah, these dance moves.
That's our
Can you,
prime minister? Yeah, he's fucking brilliant. Isn't
can
he?
you kill the sound?
Yeah.
And then, is there an option to slow the speed?
I can do it by hand. Hold on a sec.
Settings
Fucking sound. I turned the sound off.
Button, the settings button doesn't have a 0.25 speed or 0.5 speed.
I'm just holding it, but I'm just doing it manually. Okay, so here's his moves. Going slow.
Oh fuck. Okay. He's into Chrystia Freeland's meds.
I think so.
I have seen these dance moves before. Everybody who is on,
he's high. He's clearly fucking high.
Everybody who is on meth dances like this. And remember, kids, Adderall, Ritalin, they're just methylamines. It's just meth. Okay. Yep. MDMA, oh, it's pure MDMA. It's much better quality meth. It's just meth. That's what they mean by meth. The methylamine family of drugs.
It's true.
And when you're on methylamines, that's the dance moves you do.
Yeah, no, he's clearly high there. Like, what would possess you after the shellacking you had in the by-election this week? It was this week, yeah? Or last week? It was this week.
Early this week or late last week? I can't remember.
It was early. Yeah, anyway, we had a by-election in a solidly... See, that's right. This is that 5-block area that basically always
determines elections.
Terms elections, yeah.
Well, look, I mean, our
Toronto St. Paul, which has been liberally held since 1993, I think, or 97.
It's not the 80s.
I heard it was.
I thought it was like 1980 something.
Oh, I heard it was 93. Anyway.
Okay.
Flipped to a guy who was basically parachuted in to go against the person who was tapped by the previous MP who stepped down because I guess she saw the she retired, but she saw the writing on the wall. She basically says the fucking liberals are going down. I'm getting out while the getting's good.
Yeah.
And yeah, or no, did she get out because she was of some sort of scandal? I don't remember. Might have been a scandal, might have been. But anyway, no longer going to be excuse me, member of parliament from that region. She tapped an assistant, I think it was assistant to Freeland to run in that riding, and was beaten by a guy who parachuted in, a carpetbagger, a literal carpetbagger from the Conservatives. I don't mean carpetbagger in that he didn't deserve to be there, but basically, yeah, somebody you'd never heard of before.
And who do they live in the area at least? Like that's
I would hope so.
I always thought that's what they meant by carpetbagger.
Carpetbagger, coming from out of a region.
They don't live in that area and they come
Right.
in to represent it. And it's like
That's right, yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, like okay. The parliamentary system is absolutely retarded. I mean that in the technical sense, like its ability to perform well is slowed by its structure.
Mm-hmm.
And the Americans worry so much. Oh my God, lost the popular vote and the electoral college needs to go. It's like it was 50.5 to 49.5.
Yeah.
In our country, 5 million people voted for the Conservatives in the last election, and only 4 million voted for the Liberals, and the Liberals won because they held their Toronto strongholds. There was no penetration from the Conservatives into Toronto, right? And, to another degree, to Quebec, right?
Right.
But that South Ontario stronghold for Liberals, if you don't get in there, you do not win. Because if 99% of people in Alberta, Saskatchewan, and Manitoba vote Conservative, doesn't matter. They don't have the seats.
Right.
And seats are what matter, not people. That's the problem with the parliamentary system.
Agreed. What's the other problem is the fact that Justin Trudeau, neither Justin Trudeau nor Jagmeet Singh alone could form government. As a matter of fact, because in the last election the Conservatives had more seats, they should have been the one to form the government, but nobody had a clear majority. So the idea that Justin Trudeau gets to keep as prime minister, stay as prime minister, when he has fewer seats in his party than the Conservatives do, it boggles the mind. He does. Conservatives won. No, the Conservatives won more seats than the Liberals in the last election. But the Liberals, no, because it wasn't a majority. But the Liberals could form a majority with the NDP, and that's how they stayed in power.
No, but then the leader of the Conservatives would be the prime minister and with no power because the opposing parties would align against him. Yeah, that can't be right. There's not enough seats in Alberta, Saskatchewan, and Manitoba, right? Because there's a huge skewing of seats to population in the Maritimes and Newfoundland, right? So, like with 2.4 million people in the Maritimes and Newfoundland, they have a combined total of 30 seats, and with 4.2 million people, fairly close to double in Alberta, Saskatchewan, and Manitoba, they have 34 seats. They only outseat them by 2, right? When they should have, 50
okay. You
seats.
know what? My mistake. You're right. The Liberals do have more overall seats, but not a majority.
No, not a majority. No.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's happened before, where like a party wins, and their leader is the prime minister, but all the other parties are against them. So the opposition parties have all the power, have a coalition, and basically act as the government because there's nothing that the party that won can do. Right?
Mm-hmm.
But
Isn't it
yeah, but
interesting that a couple of the independents that we've got here in Canadian Parliament, Kevin Vuong, Chinese, Han Dong, Chinese.
yeah, and wasn't at least
Wasn't
one of
Han
them
Dong the one who was involved in the scandal?
Yes.
That's right. He had to step down. That's why he's an independent. I forgot. He had to leave the Liberal Party because of the scandal, but he didn't lose his seat. That's why he's become an independent. So I'm just looking at the map here. Interesting. Anyway, calls now coming out openly from New Brunswick members of Parliament. New Brunswick member of Parliament, whose name escapes me at this moment, wrote an open letter calling for Justin Trudeau to resign, saying the Liberal Party needs new leadership. You should resign. So,
Yeah. I mean, it's too little, too late. Right.
it's who the supportive Parliament parties are, just a means to an end. Yeah. We need to have competence. The backbenchers will hold the PM accountable, but they won't. Yeah. No, it's true, but they don't. You're right. I think we should have a recall system here in Canada. I think the technology exists for us to do it. I think basically every election should have the ability to be overturned if need be.
No, they'll tell you you have the ability to overturn the election in the next election.
In 5 years,
Yeah.
right? I don't agree with that. Because the prime minister can keep running and hold on to those stronghold seats and keep getting elected year over year. He could do it anytime he wants. He can call an election, and as long as he keeps getting elected, he can remain prime minister for life. And if you can gerrymander the districts, the ridings enough, you can pretty much guarantee. It's why liberals stay in power as long as they do. You can guarantee that you're going to stay in power. The longest serving prime ministers in Canadian history, I believe, were liberals. William Lyon Mackenzie King, John Diefenbaker. Like, these guys served a long time.
Wasn't Diefenbaker a conservative?
Oh, maybe Diefenbaker was a conservative. Hold on, let me just check. Diefenbaker. John Diefenbaker, former Prime Minister of Canada.
Yeah, Diefenbaker was the
He
one
was
who tried to
you're right. He
give
was
all
a
the-
progressive conservative. You're right. He was a progressive conservative.
Yeah, he was the one who tried to give all the natives the vote and to stop othering.
Yeah.
And the liberals said that's racist.
Yeah, that's absolutely ridiculous. William Lyon Mackenzie King, longest serving prime minister. He was a liberal.
Yeah, but also is that the late 1800s, early 1900s? So liberal meant something different back then than it does now.
Yeah, so he served a total of 3 terms. 1935 to 1948.
Really that late? Okay, I thought he was a little farther back.
No, he was. That was his last term. He started in 1921. So he was 1921 to 26, 26 to 30. Then he was out of office was he out of office? Yeah, I guess so. And then 1935 to 1948. All told, he spent
or not out of office, but out of prime ministership.
Yeah, he wasn't prime minister, yeah. 21 years and 154 days in office as prime minister. Yeah.
But liberal meant something different back then.
Sure it did. It meant your classical liberal. But anyway, yeah, I think Jean Chrétien was about 11 years. Harper was 9. It averages around 8 or 9. But
13 for Gretchen, yeah. But also, am I cut off? Am I lost?
nope, I can hear you. I can hear you. Now I can't. What are you saying?
Oh, I'm here now.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, 13 years for Gretchen was what I was
Yeah.
saying. But he also had I want to say Martin Brodeur, but that's a hockey player. That's a famous goalie. He had some conservative as his finance minister. He literally pulled someone from the opposing party into his cabinet.
Which is smart.
It worked. Like
Yeah.
they actually did fairly well. Neither here nor there.
Anyway, I can't wait for Trudeau to step down.
He
You
won't.
think it's going to happen?
No. God,
I
no.
think
They're
you're
going to have
probably
to
right.
drag him kicking and screaming. He's going to lose the next election, and still, he might not even win his seat.
Yeah, I
And
can
then
see that happening.
he's not going to step
Hold on.
down as leader of the party either. They're going to. I don't know what they're going to have to do to try and get rid of him.
Neither do I. I'm going to let my puppy out and then feed my cat, and you keep talking.
Six is back.
Welcome back, Six.
He's going to leave me with the shoddy internet connection and trying to explain Canadian politics to Americans. This is going to be great, guys. This is going to be fantastic. It is so horrifically rigged, and we have a rigged system. The system is so screwed up that, yeah, you can win a majority of seats, a majority government, with something as small as 27% of the vote. Right? 73% of Canadians could say somebody else should be the leader, and you still end up with a majority government and basically absolute power over the country. It's just wild. People like, Americans are like, the Electoral College is all messed up. No, the Electoral College is fucking fantastic. I'm so impressed with the Electoral College versus our parliamentary system. It's really valuable. It has a very strong value. Here with our stupid parliamentary system, I was saying this before, you can have 5 million votes for Party A and 4 million for Party B. And because Party B's votes are all crammed into a few small areas, outvoted by 1 million people, you still win. In the US, you see 50.5 to 49.5. 49.5 is the winner based on the Electoral College. And they're losing their minds. The Electoral College has to go. The popular vote. Oh, it's like, geez, just calm down, guys. Like, you've got a really solid system that works in your favor here.
Mm-hmm.
Except for the cheating.
Well, right, and that's
there's
why they
always-
cheat. But that's why cheating is known. Like Democrats are known to cheat because they believe in democracy. They don't believe in the Electoral College and a republic. They want majority rule, so they'll.
Well, I explained the Electoral College to somebody, and I actually made a convert to, oh yeah, Electoral College is the better way.
It's the way to go. Yeah, for sure.
Far more important than the popular vote, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I explained it this way, if you'll give me a minute. Imagine two candidates, candidate A, candidate B, and two very populous states like California and New York come out at 100% voters. Every eligible voter casts a vote, and they cast a vote for candidate A. Okay?
Yep.
All the other states have regular voting numbers, right? So not all the registered voters. And they come out 60-40 for candidate B. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You would say, I mean, most people would agree, 60-40 is a clear majority, right?
Right.
But in the popular vote, based on these numbers, you would have 60-40 for candidate A.
Yeah.
But 48 other states, compared to 2, voted 60-40 for candidate B. So 48-2, they wanted the other guy. If you
Yeah,
went
but
with the
see,
popular vote, right? And the real importance of this is that every state has different needs,
mm-hmm.
right? That each state has its own economy, its own geology, its own climate, its own ecology and trade practices, and they need to be able to work together. So if 2 states can skew the popular vote, that suddenly they rule the other 48, they're going to ruin the other 48 because they don't care about their geology, their ecology, their economy.
Right.
Right? They don't give a shit about any of that.
But what you'll find
They
is
don't
that
have
Democrats will say, yeah, but so what? New York and California, they're the more educated people. They're the more successful people. Greater GDP comes from most of the majority of the GDP comes from those regions. So by all means, yes, we should give them more. They should be the ones deciding who runs the country. Now, that being said, the president's role and the federal government's role was never meant to be as big as it is right now. It was
no,
never meant to
no.
be this big.
But
And
also that thing you're talking about is called a plutocracy. Is that
yeah. Oh no, I know.
is that
I know.
right? Right. But that's not
They're fine
that's
for
not
that.
the
Yeah.
system they have. They have a republic. And that republic means that 48 independent states, because guess what? It's actually the first incarnation of the European Union. It was a recognition of all of these places are effectively countries that have gathered under one banner to be a republic.
Right.
Right. And that's why each state gets a say. Right. They're separate nations. They have their own laws. They have their own constitutions.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, yeah. But Democrats don't give a shit because they're literally all authoritarians at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, they're far more than that. Don't let me go off, Craig. Stop me.
Stop, Irving. Stop.
Okay, thanks, man.
But this is the point. Yeah, Costin's calling out, saying, sounds like you're advocating for proportional representation. Here's what I'm advocating for: a benevolent dictator, like what's his name?
Caesar?
No, Augusto Pinochet. A benevolent dictator who comes in and says, "No, look, our country means this, and I'm deciding what our country means, and I'm deciding how it runs, and this is how it runs." So, yeah.
No, okay. Costin says it sounds like I'm advocating for proportional representation. No. I've had this conversation with different people. I tell them I'm a Republican. And I don't mean I'm an American style party Republican. I'm a Republican in the definitional sense. I think the concept of a constitutional monarchy is a lie. It's just bullshit. We need to throw that off, reform the whole country as a proper republic with a constitution with teeth that means something and has some kind of power in the moment. None of this, we can pass a law and until this unconstitutional law meets the Supreme Court, it just stays in effect. No. You can call it out on the floor as it's happening and punish the person who's trying to engage in this unconstitutional act. A real republic needs something more like that. We don't vote for parties, Irving Twin. Yes, unfortunately, we do. We don't have any other choice because that's the system that they're using.
Mm-hmm.
And
No,
then
you
they
vote,
say, we
you
have to
vote for
protect our democracy. We don't have fucking democracy. We have a constitutional monarchy, so-called, and a parliamentary system to support that constitutional monarchy.
Here's what I want. I want a minarchy. I want to make the government so small and have its purposes delineated to such a limited degree that you barely even notice they're there. And the only time they come out is when they need to. So, in that sense, there needs to be a government for the purposes of providing defense at a national level, and it exists to provide a means of security at the internal level. So, a police force, a judiciary, and basically the only time you should ever see the government is when you are transgressed against. So if you're transgressed against by a
Yeah.
corporation or another person, you get the law involved, and that's when the government comes in place. But otherwise, everybody just gets along to get along. So
You know what? I don't even want to see the government when I'm transgressed against. Right? I can't remember which Western I saw. Was it a series, a movie? But guns go off in the fucking thoroughfare. People come out. What happened? That guy tried to shoot me. I got him first. This was illegal killing. Cops don't even show up.
no,
Yeah.
no, they will
sounds
show up.
wonderful.
They will show up if the little kid who's hiding in the rain barrel says, "Nuh-uh, he killed him in cold blood. I saw it. That guy wasn't trying to shoot him at all." Then the law gets involved.
That's just movie stuff. That shit was real back in the day.
Yeah. No, I get it, but what I'm saying is like they still had laws in place. It's just that people were expected to take care of themselves, and
people
there
think
was
the
a law
Wild
against.
West was a bad place because all they've ever seen is Western films,
Yeah,
and that everyone is always shooting everyone.
yeah,
And that's what they thought the Wild West was. It's like, no, the Wild West was like literally you're on your horse by yourself for 30 days. Then you see your family. Right?
yep.
And one time in your life, maybe you see a gunfight. You didn't take part. But it happened like around the corner where you heard the guns go off. And by the time you got there, it was over.
And when you go into town, to buy feed. And maybe get the news of the day, which is that Farmer John down the way, he
Don't
came
take your
in.
guns to town, Bill.
He
Just leave
came
your
in
guns
just
at home,
before
Bill.
you. Get this. Here's some big
Don't
gossip.
take your guns to town.
Your Old West gossip. Farmer Brown from down the way. He came in before you. You know what? He's changed feeds. He's bought a different feed this time. Oh yeah. That was the fucking news. Anyway, it was boring. People died of their teeth more than they died of gunfights.
Yeah.
Excuse me for the coughing, folks. I have allergies and it affects my. I get a cough from it.
They died of flux, whatever that
That's
was.
right. No, Irving, that is not our system. We elect representatives of the Louisville population. Follow development of the
Loyal or
West.
local? Yeah.
Loyal population. I don't know. Sadly, we don't have recall elections. I believe that we should have recall elections, personally.
Local. V is much closer to C than it is to Y.
Excuse me. Sorry, another comment from Costin. Too many people think that we are vote for parties, and that justifies proportional representation.
I understand what he's trying to say, and I'm very sympathetic to the idea. But the fact is, whichever party wins the most seats, their leader becomes prime minister. So you are ultimately voting for a party. You can try your best to vote for the right candidate, but I don't have a good way to describe it right now.
Frank said at this point, I want electoral college at the state level. Washington is dominated by Seattle. Yeah, that's the other problem. Right? The big cities basically rule everything for the surrounding communities.
Sure, but you know what? Seattle versus the rest of Washington, you're looking at is it something like 70% of the population versus 30 that between Seattle and Portland?
Well, that's why part of Portland's
Oregon. What's the other big city in Seattle? Or the
In
other
Washington.
fairly big city notable?
In Washington?
Yeah.
Um,
There's another notable city.
yeah, I'm trying to remember.
It doesn't matter. But
Anyway.
between the two cities, right? Like it's much harder. It's much harder to do it in state because that state is a state because of its uniqueness to the surrounding areas.
Yeah, but there's
Right.
people in Western Oregon who are working to secede and join North Dakota. North Dakota?
And wasn't there some groups in somewhere else that want to
Portland.
join Idaho?
Portland's in
or
Oregon.
something?
Portland's in Oregon.
Portland's
so
Oregon. Yeah. But Oregon and Washington are like stacked.
yeah.
And again, similar climates, similar ecologies, geographies,
Mhm.
topologies. Like,
Mhm.
I mean-
Washington has always confused me because you got Washington State and then you got Washington D.C. and I'm like, why are there two Washingtons?
because they just named shit after George. Like he
I
was
know.
cool.
No, I get it.
Yeah. But like you can't have people in North Dakota telling people in Arizona how to live, right? Like it's two very vastly different lifestyles. You know, like
And that's again why even at the state level, the more prominent government you should be interacting with is your local government. Like what happens at the state level shouldn't affect you as much at the local level. You can see it have, okay, so we have a state sales tax, or we have a state, whatever. Fine. But that's like a line item in your budget. It shouldn't be things that, oh, Governor so-and-so passed this bill, this law, so you can't do that in your car anymore. You got to do it like this.
Tacoma and Spokane.
Yeah.
Seattle is
about-
really only 10%
Yeah.
of the population. All right. Well, then fuck, maybe that'll work. You know, it won't work in California. Because between LA, San Francisco, San Diego, that's 80% of the population.
Yeah.
You know, nobody
In
lives
California, everybody lives in the big cities. Like there are people who live outside of it, but I mean, for the most part, the entire state has become like just sprawl. You know what I mean?
Nobody mentions Oxnard.
Oxnard? Where's Oxnard?
Somewhere in California.
Oh,
And not Oxnard by the beach. Oxnard way up in the onion patches.
Oxnard. Fuck. Sounds like a made up name, but I guess all names are made up, aren't they?
Technically.
You know what? We got to move on to.
Where are we?
I'm in Burlington. You're in Etobicoke.
What are we moving on to? On to what are we moving?
We're moving on to.
Why do you say you feel trapped in a man's body?
Well, sometimes I get the menstrual cramps real hard.
Time for True News, folks.
So I've been absorbed in this debate in the proper politics the past few days.
Yeah.
What are the Troons up to?
Oh, I gotta show you. One sec here.
Oh, before you start, Leah Thomas's medals have all been revoked.
I
and
heard.
basically handed to Riley Gaines, the really
heard
pretty
that.
blonde lady who's been going around making noise about it.
Yep.
Yeah, and basically everyone second, third, and fourth after Leah Thomas has been given first, second, and third medals now.
Good for them. Hold on.
She was on Joe Rogan even.
Yeah.
Yeah. Riley Gaines.
Yeah, she's a pretty girl.
But more than that, she did a whole lot of work. And yeah, she was one of the she was attacked somewhere at the school. That they literally like physically assaulted her, and she ended up like retreating into a certain room and
Yeah, she's at one of the
up.
universities, and
Yeah, and it was Troons.
no doubt. Okay, hold on a sec here. I gotta share something with you. This showed up in my feed earlier this week. I guess Victoria's all in on the Victoria in Australia is all in on supporting trans and gender diverse people.
And that's terrible because Australia and Canada are mirrors of each other.
Kind of,
Um,
yeah.
One is super hot and has all the poisonous animals. One is super cold and has all the animals with the teeth and the antlers.
All right.
And the same political and cultural issues. It's so crazy.
It is crazy. All right, here we go. Bear with me a sec here.
Okay, hold on. Trans people deserve to feel safe. You know what? You're in the elevator alone. The only danger to you is the fucking elevator now. So I don't know what you're complaining about.
Yeah.
Also,
and the idea is that, like,
hey, you could have taken her.
totally, because
Just
you're a
judging by the
man.
size difference. You would have kicked
Yeah,
the
I mean,
shit
look,
out of
you
her.
got a guy who's like close to 6 foot, right? Giant. You see the neck on that guy? It's thicker than mine. Dressed
Yeah, like
in a green dress, clutching a purse. Now I gotta hand it to the person there. Uh, they're playing the role, walking like a lady, standing like a lady. But in any event, and then the person rushes out. What about the person who is in there? So she doesn't have a right to feel safe. You know, the biological woman doesn't have a right to feel safe. Who she sees this person in the elevator with them. Clearly, a male has the male muscles. Understands. Okay, now I know this person is not dealing with reality the same way that most people deal with reality. There's a greater chance that this person suffers from some form of psychosis than a naturally normal
yeah, so
dressed man, then I have a right to feel safe. I got to get the hell out of here.
well documented, gender dysphoria does not present on its own. While it was still in the DSM,
Mm-hmm.
it never presented on its own. Yeah, there's always something else, and it's usually depression, but you never know what might be the other condition presenting. Squid, yeah, that debate, you missed some of our analysis on
We
that
were
one.
talking about
Good
it,
to
yeah.
see ya.
Six
Went to
told a
Canada.
story. Got eaten by a moose. Moose said, "Sorry, but I gotta eat you, eh?" Ran a bunch of things. They call kilometers. Moose still caught me. Called me a hoser. Dang moose. That's pretty good.
Ran a bunch of things they call kilometers.
Kilometers, eh? Oh shit. The toxic mindset of the far left. Women should feel safe at all times unless having a woman in the bathroom gives them the ick. Then they can shut the fuck up. Exactly. Yeah.
No, but I mean, there's the version they show you
Yeah.
of this giant man in a dress walking into the elevator, and the woman, disgusted, escapes at the last second. And then there's reality where the giant man in a dress walks into the elevator, and the woman doesn't even look, doesn't even notice, and they just ride the elevator together. And then the man in the dress pulls the dress up and starts stroking his dick, saying, "Yeah, you like that?" That's far more likely to happen based on what we know of the Troons. That's the more likely scenario, is that that woman's going to be, sexually assaulted than is going to behave badly.
Yeah. No, this is the point. Like the hypocrisy of the ad in and of itself. You know,
Yeah.
they deserve to
No.
feel safe. But does anybody else deserve to feel safe? Like,
There's this thing that they do on the internet. Stop making up scenarios in your own head and feeling bad about it.
right.
That's all of this troon crap. Nobody cares. As long as you're not being a fucking cunt, people will just fucking ignore it. They'll pretend they don't notice you're a man and that your unhinged penis is swinging in that dress. They'll just look you in the eyes and say, welcome to Starbucks. How may I take your order?
Yep.
They'll like, it doesn't happen that way. It happens the other way. Somebody's like, well, as a trans, like, you remember my fucking as a shoulder licker thing?
Yeah.
Like, guy licked his shoulders. Nobody cared. Why do you do that? Just do it. Okay. And then
As a
we move
shoulder
forward.
licker.
We move forward amicably, but that was like 25 years ago, almost 30 years ago. Today, shoulder lickers are being oppressed because people ask me, why do you lick your shoulders? Why do you lick your shoulders, you fucking nut job?
You bigot! How dare you even ask me that? Yep. Are you implying these women can possibly just be generics with a kink? Cancelled. Well, that's Billboard Chris's biggest thing, eh? He says,
Well,
look, no, these people they're not they're not gender dysphoric. They have autogynephilia. They have a sexual they get a sexual pleasure out of appearing as the opposite sex and seeing other people see them as the opposite sex. And
so
and they get off on it, especially in intimate situations where it makes people feel uncomfortable. It's a kink to them. Yes.
why it fits in the what used to be in the DSM, and they're trying to say is no longer a DSM issue,
Hmm.
as gender dysphoria, is that it's the only way they can experience sexual pleasure. But now it's broader,
Right.
right? Because they're saying it's not actually a mental disorder of any kind. And it's like, no, if it wasn't a disorder, why that? Like, and it's the only disorder that they treat with, what's the word there? Enablement.
Yeah.
Like, somebody says, oh my God, I think my whole family and my neighbors are out to get me. Oh, well, we'll just have to build you a panic room. Like, they don't do that for paranoia. They don't do
No.
that for depression.
No.
Oh, well, you have every reason to be sad and degenerate, and you should probably just kill yourself.
I
Like,
feel compelled to set things on fire. Well, here's some matches. You should indulge those feelings.
yeah,
Here's some
like,
matches. Yeah.
but if you pull it from the DSM,
Hmm.
now it's not a mental disorder. So the treatment is physical, and this makes a lot of money. And people have forgotten that the best way to see what's going on is to follow the money,
Hmm.
right? They
Well,
forgot
I
that
told
with
you about that. I
abortion.
told you about that report from the UK, right? There's a big
Did?
scandal about a month ago. Can't remember what the name of the papers were, but basically it was a document. It was a report that came out. Basically, it looked into uh, the overprescription of gender modification,
Hmm.
like gender treatment in young women, young girls. And what they found was basically there had been all this money earmarked for this sort of treatment, and they built their budgets off of it, and basically they were going to get money if they prescribed gender reassignment and gender therapy. So girls would come speak to their GP or speak to a gynecologist and say, I feel they're just going through puberty. So they started to, I feel weird in my body. I go, oh really? You must be trans. Here we go. And basically all it was a bunch of girls who were going through puberty and felt
Yeah.
uncomfortable about it, right?
Yeah.
And so they overprescribed it. And so this came out. It's a huge scandal. And now basically UK has put a stop to all of it. Like no more transitioning of children. No one under the age of 18 cannot receive care in that way.
That's awesome because we did the exact opposite in Canada. Unanimous assent. Ajax is here. Good to see you, Ajax. If trunism isn't in the DSM, then no tax dollars should go toward treatment of any kind. Well, no, because now it's a physical ailment, right? That you're in the wrong. Your body is wrong. It's the same as having cancer, and we need to do these surgeries. It's basically it's a big money grab, right? A troon is a patient for life. You will need multiple surgeries, permanent hormones, and repeat visits for, God knows what. It's the 3 stages of internet grief: seethe, cope, dilate. And that's going right.
Seethe, cope, dilate. I fucking love it.
But that's it's just big money, and people stopped following the money, and because they were told, "Oh, you hate women and you don't want women to have rights," and they stopped following the money on abortion, and found out, hey, guess what? They're selling those baby parts.
Mm-hmm.
They're making a fuck ton of money off of aborted babies.
Mm-hmm.
They're making a fuck ton of money off of mutilated children. And apparently, everything they ever thought about, this prevents suicide of troons. No.
It doesn't.
No.
It's actually they're overrepresented either post and prior to and post treatment. The people who suffer from this condition are hugely overrepresented in suicide statistics. So the treatment doesn't help.
This was a Stone Toss comic when they were talking about and letting troons into the military. Sir, our trans unit needs reinforcements badly. What? We haven't even sent them into combat. What's going on? They already have 41% casualties.
That's right. It's true. It's all true.
And then there's the difference between autogynephilia and gender dysphoria, not autogynephilic.
Well, I do think that there is, yeah. So there are people who suffer from gender dysphoria where the psychosis is, I don't belong, this body is not mine. Like I don't, this body is not correct. I need boobs. I need, a vagine. I need, that kind of stuff, right? And every time they look in the mirror, it's like, ugh, I hate the way I look. It's not just body dysmorphia. It's along gender lines, right? So when you think about people like Blair White, says she legit felt this way when she was a kid, and as she got older, it got worse. And the fact that she was abused by her father, not sexually but physically and mentally and emotionally, the fact that she suffered parental abuse probably led to a lot of her psychosis, right? But yeah, I have a feeling that there are those people out there who are just like, no, I need to change myself. It's not just a matter of I get a kick out of it. I legit need to change my body, and I feel bad for those people, but you know, it
And
is what it is.
and there was something that happens at GIDS. This was actually UK. This is part of the reason I think that they went ahead with that with the changes you were talking about.
Did you read that?
I'm reading it.
He sent you apparently an
Yeah,
interview.
I'll look into it when I get a chance. 41%. That's sad. We need to get to 90. No, actually, yeah. Like I get the joke. It's funny, but the UK has now banned that for people under 18, right? And it was something that happened at a place called GIDS, GIDS. I can't remember what the acronym stands for.
Okay.
But that was their Troon clinic, basically. And they basically did a small study of like groups of 40 and 40 where they said they were trans and gave one group hormone blockers and trans hormones and gave the other group nothing.
Yeah.
And of the group they gave hormones and hormone blockers and all that, over time they remained gender dysphoric and became trans.
Right.
And then showed of the 40 that they gave nothing,
Yeah.
one of them was trans and the other 39 were homosexual in adulthood.
Right. Yeah.
And the trans activists, because they're
Yeah.
not the trans community, this is trans activists that are
Yeah.
leeching onto this shit.
Yeah.
We're saying, oh, you ruined those people's lives. The 39 that never got hormones. They were saying, oh, they should have been trans, and your bigotry made them fucking God. It's like, no, man. People are confused in their puberty, you know, and the study actually showed in this small grouping, there should be more, but basically the preliminary results are showing with no intervention, most people who think they might be trans or suffer from gender dysmorphia in their pubescent years will simply mature into homosexuals. And instead, they choose to make money by ruining them hormonally, medically, and surgically.
I'm going to make a prediction. Those people who identified or thought they might be a gender dysphoric in their youth and eventually became gay or were found to be gay, I bet you the statistics indicate that the vast majority of them are bottoms. I bet you.
It was mixed groups of males and females, so I don't know.
But of the males, I bet you the majority of them were bottoms.
The males who felt more feminine, yeah, sure, right? But autogynephiliacs, I don't know. Like, how does that translate without hormones into later life? Because, like, you know, you look at the difference between a Blair White and a Leah Thomas, or who was that asshole?
Jessica
Riley
Yaniv.
something. Which one?
I was saying Jessica Yaniv.
Oh God, no, that's just a monster.
Yeah, she's fucking
Jessica
terrible.
Yaniv is It's not a trans anything. That's not a gender dysmorphic. That's a
No, it's a serial abuser and like you said, a monster. This is somebody who their whole thing was they wanted to go into um what do you call it? Bikini wax places like spas where they did
yes.
bikini wax and force the women there to wax his junk because he was he didn't have bottom surgery.
This is my
So
lady balls, and you
these are
need to
my
wax my
this is
lady
my
balls.
feminine penis and my lady balls. I need you to wax them.
Uh, people hear the word psychopath, and they think of Hannibal Lecter, and
Yeah.
they think of Ted Bundy, and they think of
Riley Dennis,
Jeffrey
that's right.
Dahmer. Riley Dennis, thank you.
Yeah.
Jessica Yaniv is the better example of psychopaths because what people don't really grasp is that psychopathy is actually a form of brain damage. And so they always associate psychopathy with the sexy, stylized psychopaths of TV and movies. And, oh, the famous psychopaths. Psychopathy is brain damage, and most psychopaths are
Right back.
fucking retarded. Like they are stupid beyond belief.
It's true.
And it shows in their inability to connect to other human beings. What they call the intelligent psychopath is actually very, very rare. Okay, and I can try to get into this a little more. What was that squid thing that you were? I can't read it from here.
The squid thing.
Squid Coyote was sharing
Oh.
some stuff, and you were laughing, but I was talking.
Oh, he was talking about. Oh, let's see if I can remember. Not gonna lie, if you're gonna pay someone to touch your balls, it could be anyone that just needs to know where the good places are.
You got to know where the good places are. Yeah. Okay. Psychopathy has brain damage.
Yeah.
The reason we empathize with people, okay? You might know a guy from high school that maybe he picked on you or got the girl you wanted, and you hate him with a passion. And then you'll see him. He's not looking, and out of nowhere comes a fucking tennis ball, hits him in the nuts, and he doubles over, and you go, "Oh!"
Ooh, yeah.
And you hate him. You hate him. Your reaction should be joyous. You should be like, "Oh yeah, good. Fuck that guy." No. You know what happens? Your higher brain sees this series of events and it connects to your lower brain, your medulla oblongata, and your, these lizard brain parts.
Yeah.
And it sends a signal down there, and your medulla goes off. You take a gasp. You have a surge, a small surge of adrenaline.
Yeah.
You know what it feels like.
Right.
Oh, and you feel for him, and
Yeah.
you hate yourself for feeling for him on an intellectual level, right?
Like, why do I feel for him? He's a jerk. Yeah.
But you had a visceral response, a proper experiencing of what he's experiencing. Psychopathy is when your higher brain doesn't do that. So somebody walks into the street and the bus hits them, and your higher brain doesn't send a signal, or the signal is interrupted before it reaches your medulla. So you don't have the adrenaline response. You don't have a breath response. Your heart rate doesn't increase. You know this is terrible. This is a tragedy, but you're not physically experiencing it. That's what a psychopath is. That's literal brain damage. But most times, to have that brain damage, you have proper brain damage and you are stupid too. But we've sexualized and
Wow.
sexyized the concept of a psychopath with Hannibal and fucking Jeffrey
Oh,
Dahmer and
because the
Ted
because the
Bundy.
interesting stories about psychopaths are the romanticized versions. Anyway, I just got to do this from Squid Coyote. No, Colonel Sanders. Mama says crocodiles are angry because they got in them tooth and they got no toothbrush. That's my Bobby Boucher. You've seen Waterboy, yeah?
Yes, and yes.
It's a reference to the medulla oblongata. I think
Well,
there's something wrong with him, medulla
look,
oblongata.
the crocodile, 85% of its brain is medulla, right? All they are is adrenaline and aggression. But a psychopath doesn't have that connection physically the way that a crocodile does. They're literally less involved than a crocodile. But if they don't like you for whatever intellectual reason, nothing will stop them from doing you harm. There's no reason to stop them, right? Like they just don't experience it on a physical level the way the regular person does.
Squid Coyote says psychos also don't yawn when they see other people
Yeah.
yawn because of their brain defect. Yeah, they don't. They lack the empathy. Yeah,
Right.
when you yawn, when you see someone yawn and you yawn, it's an it's an empathetic response.
Technically, I think it's sympathetic. I'm not
Sympathetic,
quite sure
maybe.
the technical difference, but same idea. You're right. And you'll see this anywhere.
Fox goes, "Uh-oh." Fox is one of those people who doesn't yawn when he sees other people yawn, or he knows someone. He lives with somebody who's like that.
But you'll see it. Okay, you know how you know the yawn response is right? Look at your dog. Where's your dog? Yawn.
She's on the couch.
Yawn at your dog.
Trinity.
Your dog will yawn respond to you.
Didn't this time. I think Trinity's a little bitch.
Your yawn was too fake and too small. If you proper yawn, your dog will yawn. And
There was a proper yawn right there.
You have a sympathetic. She wasn't looking at you. You weren't looking at her.
True.
You also have a sympathetic cough response. You can't do this, you and I, right now. If I cough and you cough, maybe you're having your allergies. Maybe I smoke too much.
Yeah.
But go to a theater. Watch a movie.
You hear somebody cough, someone else will cough.
Yes. Or force a cough where you don't have to, and you'll hear somebody else cough in less than 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Every time. Every time.
Speaking of which.
Sure.
Pox is sus, says Squid Coyote. Well, now I may be autistic and psycho. Fuck.
Okay, hold on.
I just made a point that I had to fight the urge even though I knew what you were doing.
Pox, don't worry. You cannot be both. They're literally polar opposites on the spectrum. Okay?
But he doesn't yawn when other people yawn.
Yeah, that could be autism. That could be severe autism. Autists and schizophrenics are on one side. Psychopaths and narcissists are on the other. And there's a distinct reason for this. Give me a second. I hope I remember it. Psychopaths don't experience what was that? You left it too short. I didn't read it.
That doesn't make this better.
No, it does. Trust me. Because that's the eternal war. If you're a spiritual person, you'll talk about good and evil. if you're a evolutionary biologist, this is good and evil in those terms. Psychopaths and narcissists versus autists and schizophrenics, right? And everybody else in between is normies, right?
Yeah.
They're neutrals. They're NPCs. So a psychopath doesn't experience physically emotions. They know on some level this is a bad thing, but they don't gasp, they don't heart rate, they don't adrenaline.
Yeah.
Autists,
Good night, Ajax.
good night, Ajax. Autists have trouble connecting to other humans, but they have no trouble connecting to other autists. There's like it's the reverse boundary, that it's not that they don't care, it's that they're unable to engage. Right? Like their level of care is so high that they actually freak out when things are wrong, and they know it, and they have very bad responses to things that they're against on a principle level, right? The narcissists on the psychopath side, they're very into themselves, very demanding adulation and needing it.
Megalomaniacal, egomaniacal, yeah.
Autists refuse it. They don't want it. Leave me alone.
Yeah.
Schizophrenics, compared to a psychopath who does not experience what is actually happening in front of them, schizophrenics are experiencing some emotional or physical thing that isn't actually there. It's not really happening.
Right.
Right? Like, oh, my skin is on fire. It's not, guy. You're okay. You're going to be okay. Right? But their medulla is going off for something that's not actually happening.
Right.
So if you're autistic, and I know you are, Pogs, calm your shit. You cannot possibly be a psychopath. You're on the other problem of brain damage, the exact opposite of the brain damage.
Well, he's not
spectrum.
brain damaged. He's just quirky.
Like,
I think Pox is I've talked to Pox at length. He's a pretty cool guy. I don't see any
No.
issues with.
he's smart as fuck. Like a
No,
lot
but
of
I haven't witnessed any symptoms or signifiers of autism. But hey, I haven't met him in person, so who knows? Anyway, I think it's time we moved on.
Let's do it.
It's time for
Oh, that's so disgusting. Oh my God, that's the worst thing I ever heard in my life.
it's time for Jews news.
You know, you have this as a topic, and you don't let me go off about Jews.
You can go off about Jews, but I wanted to cover something real quick. Okay, so I'm just going to share this this tab here. One
Let's
second.
do it. What are the Jews doing?
It's not the Jews. It's the
See?
left.
See what I mean? Immediately, you're already
It's-
qualifying this.
It's not the Jews. It's the left with response to the Jews. Okay, so as you know, Irving Twin, I am a bit of a gamer nerd, so I see a lot of game stuff come across my feed on YouTube and such. So here we are. There is a at Gen Con. There is a an event called the Crit Awards, as in critical hit.
Crit hit.
Anyway, so the Crit Award people who run it have decided that they're going to. This is at Gen Con. They want to have a specific code of conduct with regards to the award. So only people who follow these codes of conduct can be considered for the award. And you can nominate whoever, blah, blah, blah. But when they go and they judge, it's all going to be based on this. You might even be excluded from being in the running if you violate some of these criteria. So under the first category, inclusivity, and respect. 1-1, no racism. We do not tolerate any form of racism, racial discrimination, or xenophobia. treat all individuals with respect and fairness regardless of their race, ethnicity, or cultural background. And then it goes on, no homophobia, no ableism, no sexism. And then 1.5, individuals who identify as Zionists, promote Zionist material, or engage in activities that without a doubt support Zionism are not eligible for this nomination. Interesting. So people who are of Jewish descent who support the idea of a Jewish
Stop
state.
making me side with Jews, leftists, and Palestinians.
Exactly.
Stop making me do it.
So they're not allowed. But let's see. That kind of contradicts 1.1. Cultural background. Yeah. So anyway, so the people who run Gen Con, who are also very, very social justice warriory, they're also very, very left, very, very critical race theory proponents, and all whites are colonialists and everything. Basically, they're very woke. Let's say. They said, yeah, you know what, this is going to cause problems. You're not having this event on premises. You want to have the Crit Awards, you can rent another hall somewhere, you can do it in a hotel room somewhere, we don't care, but you're not doing it at the actual event. And it has nothing to do, and this is the thing, it has nothing to do with the fact that they're saying individual who has Zionists, identify as Zionists, can't be there. It's because they don't want to deal with the security, because they know there's going to be issues surrounding this controversy, right?
No, but what?
Anyway,
what does it even mean at this point? What is the Zionist? Anyone who is against Hamas? I'm sorry. Look, listen, leftists,
yeah, exactly, yeah,
Democrats, and people on the left. Yeah, I dislike Jews just as much as you do, and the concept of Israel. Sure, the same way you're against it, I'm against it, and Zionism, right? But that's because I'm an intellectual. But I don't side with Hamas and the Palestinians in general because I'm not a fucking animal. I just hope everyone in the region gets everything they want.
well, and this is the thing about this that it really makes my, like, the idea that the left is supporting Palestine and support Muslims. Okay, the left, who are almost to a one, consider themselves feminists. This is the crazy, like, mental what do you call it?
Gymnastics.
Mental gymnastics, or intellectual incompatibility, right? It doesn't make sense to me. You're a feminist and you are of the left. You are supposed to be, like, concerned for the welfare of others, and especially minorities and people who are typically disadvantaged. But
At a time.
you support Muslims who, the very culture is predicated on the idea of men subjugating women, and men, and Muslim men in particular, being the biggest patriarchs. Like, we are in charge here. That's
But-
incompatible. That's incompatible with your belief system. So
I hate to bring it up because it's exactly that. Like, they associate the left are the real racists. The white left women are the real racists.
they totally are, yeah.
They associate Muslim with brown.
Right.
Yeah. Right. So if you're against Islam intellectually, you actually just hate brown people. And this is one more reason for you to hate brown people, and one
Right.
more way to attack brown people. Because they don't fucking know anything. They're all fucking what they call champagne socialists. They
Yeah.
sit in their fancy ass living rooms, not knowing or learning anything. If this was a real problem, if there was a real danger here, then CNN or MSNBC would tell me.
Well, this
WAPO
is-
and New York Times would tell me that there's something dangerous about Islam inherently.
Well, this is the idea, like what you were saying with the left being the real racist, so to speak. Okay, so there's a story about this woman who was a cultural support worker for uh
Haiti?
Erit- no Eritrean refugees and migrants
Oh,
in Sweden.
this could
All
be
right,
worse.
she gets raped by one of them, and then she makes a point of saying to the media after this happens, I forgive him. I don't want anything bad to happen to him. It wasn't his fault. He couldn't control himself. It was because of the changing culture. It wasn't his fault. He has no agency because he's just a oh, careful puppy. Because he's just a poor stupid brown person. He doesn't know any better. That is the height of racism. It's like the same when what's her name? Who's the chick who came out and said, there's black kids in the Bronx who don't even know what a computer is. What? What the fuck are you talking about? How can you say such a stupid thing?
No, no. What she said was they don't even know the word computer.
Is that what she said?
It was so much worse. It was
Yeah,
so much worse. Like, oh, oh
yeah.
my God.
It's absolutely
Oh,
ridiculous. But this is the idea that they don't realize that what they're railing against is themselves. So you're right. When somebody makes
no.
an intellectual argument for here's the problem I have with, the levels of immigration kind of thing in the United States. Oh, well, you're the racist then. You're clearly the racist because you just don't like brown people from south of the border. No, that's not my issue.
Auslander raus.
That's not my issue. My issue is, X, Y, and Z. That you're just racist. You don't like brown people. They're
No, but
projecting because
like,
it's just them but they would never say it because they don't want to be seen as racist. So they attribute those feelings and those ideas to their intellectual or
there's still
ideological opponent.
cargo cults, right?
What's that?
There's still cargo cults,
Mm-hmm.
right? These groups exist in the world, and for some stupid reason, we've decided to leave these untouched cultures alone. Except they're not properly untouched. They had some exposure. They see planes flying overhead.
Mm-hmm.
They've seen higher tech civilizations using a radio. So now they carve radios out of a fucking coconut and try to call the gods for mana,
Mm-hmm.
right? We don't live in a world where the leftists believe everyone is the same and equal, and all civilizations are just looking for exactly what we have here. What we have here is very delicate and is very new to the world, and we need to protect it because there are still civilizations that carve a fucking radio out of a coconut trying to call for a manna from heaven because they don't know it's technology.
Mm-hmm.
And we think it's wise and just and good to leave them alone and just let them live on fucking North Sentinel Island, eating each other, literal cannibals, not intervening because we're so anti-cultural appropriation, and we're not going to
Is it
interrupt
North?
their development.
No, but isn't the North Sentinel Island the one where anytime any outsider comes there, they fucking kill him?
Yeah, but they eat each other too.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. But I'm just saying, like, yeah, there's a
Yes,
multiple.
but
So I have a feeling that maybe
no,
they've
but
tried to,
hold
but
on, hold
anytime they
on.
go, they just get killed.
Sure, but if 20 Marines landed on North Sentinel Island and just fucking blasted the first wave that came at them, they'd settle down right quick and adapt to the actual level of civilization in the world. But this is what I'm talking about, is that the levels of civilization, the way that we talk about it, no. The Middle Eastern Muslim people are not looking at the West and saying, I wish we had that same level of technology. No, They're trapped in a, 7th century mindset.
Mhm.
Like people all over the world are trapped in different mindsets that aren't what we believe. And the stupid, wicked people on the left in our Western world think everyone just wants to be exactly like us. They don't. They have no idea what this is and how we got here. Right? They didn't have a renaissance. They didn't have an enlightenment period. They didn't have any of this. They're literally just eating each other on North Sentinel Island. Why would they just pull them from there and put them here? Why would they be just suddenly adapt immediately? They wouldn't. And yeah, like Middle Eastern Muslims, no. They won't just adapt. You've
No,
seen it all through Europe, Germany, Sweden. God, they have posters in some African nations saying, rape, rape, rape. Go to Europe, go to Finland, go to Sweden. You can do what you want. Just rape women. You won't be punished.
And that's unfortunately,
Exactly because
that's
those
pretty much true.
stupid liberal women are saying, I hope they won't be punished for fucking raping me.
Well, it's not only that, but it's also because district attorneys and judges who have been installed by guys like George Soros, who basically want the United States, want Canada, they want them to disintegrate, right? They want us to fall. And the idea is basically if you put enough chaos out there, then eventually it just collapses. So the notion is, yeah, an illegal immigrant comes in and rapes a 14-year-old girl and then murders her. Yeah, he gets bail. Sure. Yeah, you let him out on bail. Oh, he did it again? Okay, well, now the fucking newspapers are starting to take notice. Maybe we don't give him bail this time. But we'll give him a year and then a year's probation. We won't send him back. But mind you, sending them back, that just means that they'll come back later. But yeah, no, it's
But
and
Jay
this is
Sixers,
yeah, January
3
6th.
years, right?
And the
Like,
Supreme Court finally overturned it and said, "Yeah, this is all bullshit. You got to let him out."
again, we don't live in the imaginary world that the stupid leftists want you to believe. We live in Middle Earth.
It's true.
There are other people that don't live like us. They don't
That's right.
think like us. They don't feel about society the way we do. They fucking eat each other. That's still real.
Yep. But in the world of El Camino, the different races who are very, very different culturally, they tend to get along okay for the most part.
No,
There's
fuck off. Fuck
there's
elves.
conflict.
Fuck,
No, there's
fuck
conflict to be
elves.
sure. There's conflict to
No,
be sure, but
it's not even a
you know,
conspiracy theory. The elves just rule it all. And
not the elves.
child-
The Elohim. The Elohim are like a sect of elves in Elf Camino.
Sure. Yeah. But they also support the rest of the elves. Okay. And the rest
Well,
of the
you
elves
know,
defend them.
true. They can't. They're both okay, and then or they do, and they are just extract wealth. Yes. Enslave elves. Turn elves into bleeding slaves. Oh my gosh.
No. We're not
So
race mixing with the fucking elves.
if you haven't heard us talk about it before, Elf Camino is this game that I've been working on, this tabletop RPG I've been working on. It's kind of like do you ever see the Netflix movie Bright with Will Smith?
No, it's Riff's Light.
Because
Bright was
it's
garbage.
like
What a
Bright.
shit.
Bright.
I couldn't even sit through 20 minutes of it.
Oh, I watched Bright. I didn't mind Bright, but it lacked world building, and it didn't make a hell of a lot of sense.
That's why I couldn't sit through 20 minutes of it. What you've done is riffs light. I like it. I'm very invested in this.
Yeah, Irving, Twin, and Pox Toxic have had a chance to play a session of Elf Camino. In Elf Camino, basically, what's happened is some point in 2010s. I want to make it just 2010, I think. There was a smearing of two worlds. One which was a high fantasy world populated by elves, orcs, dwarves, and goblins, and it basically became smeared with our world. So Elf Camino, its subtitle is Elf Camino Neo Fantasy Road Trips Across the United States of Weird. But I think what I might do is change it to Neo Fantasy Road Trips Across the United States of Arcana.
No, I like weird. It's
Yeah.
cleaner, broader, and we're on that trip right now.
Yes, you are.
Don't change it on me.
I won't.
Yeah, it is weird. It is weird. I'm weird. Pox is weird. You're weird. We're getting real involved in this. Yes.
We need
It
another
was
session. It
fun.
was fun. It was fun. It was fun. I had a good time too. So yeah, we do need to get another session, but I need to.
I
need to-
literally ruined your whole campaign thing
No, you didn't.
because
No.
I played in character, and I have a background for that character, a better, deeper background for that character.
No, I don't have any two different types of goblins. Basically, goblins in this world.
They're
Goblins.
Jews, but don't have any power.
They're tiny individuals with big ears and big noses, and they're green skin, and their big noses gives them an excellent sense of smell. So they found their niche in the new world, becoming chemists for pharmaceutical companies, but mainly they traffic in illicit drugs that they make because they make really amazing drugs because their sense of smell is really good. So chemistry, they're really good at chemistry. So yeah, they're like basically drug dealers or perfumers, the people who make perfumes, or they're yeah, they're chemists basically. Goblin D's suck. Goblin D's nuts. Got him. Anyway, yeah, we should do another session. Should do another. I just need to nail some more things down. I want to redo the character sheet and come up with clear character creation rules for you guys because Pox has a friend who may join us too, so that'll be cool.
Yeah, awesome. And if I'm not mistaken, that friend wants to play an elf character.
Yes, that's right.
And I just gave you some background that you were like, this is canon. We're going to do this. My character, my human character,
Doesn't like the elves
with a passion.
Doesn't like elves.
He's got good reason. So that could make some great dynamic, right?
From what I understand, though, this elf is basically, it's not one of the Eloin. It's just a regular everyday elf, but it's embraced hick culture. So he wears one of those like biker mustaches and shit.
It's not
an
elite Jew. It's just the ground level Jew that drives a truck or whatever.
That's right. Ground level Jew. Wow.
But I have an oddity.
Let's get over to it. I was immediately gonna move into no one tells jokes anymore. But if you have an oddity,
give me a minute.
It.
Give me a minute. So I stepped out of the shower and I realized, oh my God, this is how I explain it to people who don't understand. Because, there's still like a group of people on Twitter who are all like, COVID isn't over. COVID is airborne. Oh my God, COVID. Like they're still shrieking about it, even though it's all exposed as fucking bullshit and lies. And I got in an argument before COVID with a woman I was dating about the concept of airborne.
Was that the stripper?
No.
Okay.
No, this was a good girl. She's proper.
Hey, that doesn't mean not all strippers are bad girls. They're just strippers.
No, this one is the only one I missed. Let me put it that way.
This one is the only one. What? Sorry.
The only one I miss.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Not that much though. Like, she's more trouble than she's worth. But
Okay.
I got in the argument about the concept of airborne. Okay.
Yeah.
And I want you to imagine a spritzer bottle
Okay.
and you fill it with water.
Okay.
Okay. And now you spritz in the room a little bit, like 4, 5, 6 spritzes. Be generous.
Right.
Imagine this. Imagine the water bottle spritzer spritzing 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 times. I don't care.
Sure. Yeah.
Now, imagine stepping out of the shower
Mm-hmm.
into the bathroom. Doors closed, no fan, right? This is what we used to consider airborne when we talked about viruses and pathogens. The spritzer, the water in the thing that you're spraying about, that was flu, that was colds, that was most pathogens, honestly.
Right. Right. Right.
You can see it spritz in the air and it has a moment and it might touch a surface and that might surface be wet and you touch it and now you're wet. But you step out of the shower
Hmm.
and now floor to ceiling, wall to wall. That's steam. That's something else.
Yeah.
That's measles.
Right.
That's the difference. These assholes that are saying COVID is airborne. If COVID is fucking airborne, you're talking about steam in the shower versus the spritzer bottle,
Right.
right? COVID has never been more than the spritzer bottle, and it's
Yeah.
never really been more than a cold or flu.
And it doesn't. I mean, it also, yeah, it doesn't last well under UV light. So if you're outside, like this was the whole idea about, well, you got to
Yeah,
wear a mask. But why do you have to wear a mask? But you could cough that shit out. It could land on a bus stop seat, and it's going to be dead in a few minutes because the sunlight is just going to kill it. So
sure. Measles less so, but outside you're
yeah,
not contained in the bathroom with the
right,
steam,
yeah,
so it will dissipate. But steam in a bathroom will
hmm
sit for a long time until you hit the fan or open the door.
hmm
That will be a steam box for 30 minutes more, right? Like you're looking at Squid is saying, yeah, vitamin C, but Rat Utopia, beautiful ones.
yeah. Everyone should mask up, but let's not cover any other points of entry for the disease. Yeah,
But here's the real ridiculous thing is that if you think some disease is airborne, wearing a mask isn't going to do anything,
yeah,
right? Because that airborne disease that's sitting in the steam, that's sitting in the air like that, will get in your eyes and your ears and your fucking anus. Like it'll soak into your pants and get into any mucous membrane it can.
hmm
And they're just so wildly off base about what these terms mean. And it was so terrible to hear on the radio for all that time. They use the word aerosolized
hmm
interchangeably with spritzed, right?
right,
What came off your mouth was considered aerosolized. It's like, no, aerosolized meant airborne, meant steam room.
right,
For the longest time, for basically the entirety of all pathogen science
yeah.
until COVID. And
No,
I
like
just,
COVID, everything got thrown out. The idea of natural immunity not being as good as these mRNA vaccines, like people were
oh,
like, yeah, the like I remember getting in an argument with a coworker. I
they
said,
changed the word immunity.
yeah, it's
But
insane.
go
I
on.
said,
Yeah, tell me about
I
your
said,
coworker.
look, if you've had it, you're safe. You've got better protection than those vaccines. It's like oh yeah, you're sure about that? I'm like, yes, I'm sure about that.
All
I'm
immunity
absolutely sure about that.
happened from prior infection
Right.
until vaccines. Like
That's right.
we were, yeah, until COVID, the human immune system, all immune systems were considered a miracle of evolution,
Hmm.
right? That we had this capacity that that's where the idea of anything that doesn't kill you makes you stronger comes from. It comes from the immune system that you fought it off and now you can't be fucking killed. Like,
Yeah. I remember in this past, not too long ago, I was talking to a buddy of mine. I had some friends over, and something came up about COVID, and someone said something about masks. I'm like, all those things are useless anyway. I don't wear a mask. It's pointless. They're not pointless. I'm like, they're pointless. They only stop if you like sneeze or cough. Like they keep the sneeze and cough in the mask. That's the only time. But they're not going to protect you from, you know, being infected. Like if it's a
oh,
virus
of
can
course.
pass through it. It's not the issue. It's the idea is you're trying to stop the spread by spewing it. They don't actually work in terms of preventing viruses. It was all
I
horseshit.
had someone that I respected for their intelligence try and explain to me, like, imagine everyone was going around pissing and they have pants on and you have pants on, so they when they piss in their own pants.
Right.
That was the mask on your face, right? And I was like, hold on. If somebody comes onto the bus where you're sitting with no pants and just starts pissing all over you, is your idea going to be, thank God I'm wearing these pants? Or
Exactly.
I have to get out of these pants.
That's right. Oh my god, my
Yeah,
pants are
like
all fucking wet now because that guy pissed all over them. Yeah,
you're
it's
going to
so stupid.
strip down. You're going to take your pants off immediately. And that's the problem is you like that's the better example is that somebody coughed on your mask, you won't even know to take your mask off. And so you're more likely now to get sick. If somebody coughed in your face and you wiped your face off quickly enough and thoroughly, you probably won't get sick.
Yeah, and then
But if
this other
somebody
argument: why
coughed
do
on your
doctors wear
mask,
masks? That's the
but you
other
leave
argument
the
too.
mask on there,
Yeah,
you're going to get
mm,
sick
yeah,
now.
that's right. No, this is well. Then why do doctors wear masks? I'm like, they wear. When do they wear them? They wear them in surgery. They wear them in acute environments where the tiniest bit of germs getting into an open wound could could cause problems for the person for the patient.
And
That's when they
heart
wear them.
particulate. And
What's that?
hard particulate.
And heart
Hard
particulates.
particulate.
Right.
The facial hair, I've got a goatee. The hair falling into the open cavity of this unconscious man
Right.
whose body is just wide open. Like yeah, for all of my life, every time I saw a doctor from when I can remember to my adult years, no doctor put on a mask before he said, open your mouth and say ah, and
Exactly.
put the tongue depressor down me where I went ah, in
Yeah.
his
They didn't even
face.
wear gloves. They didn't even wear
No,
gloves. They just washed their hands after every fucking patient. Like it was a Subway sandwich artist.
like they
Anyway.
know the risk, they know they might, but they take the
They, and
precautions
they
and
also and they also understand the miracle of the immune system
immune
and
system.
realize,
Yeah,
you know what? I'm probably more immune to everything because I've been exposed to so many people who are sick.
all he ever sees is sick people. You know, 8, 9, 10 hours a day, he sees people with some infection. He's immune to everything now.
Yep, it's true. All right, you know what? We're going over 2 hours. We're almost at 3 hours now. So I think it's time
Holy
we
shit.
move on to. It's okay. It's time we move on to. No one tells jokes anymore. Mr. Twin, do you have any jokes for us tonight?
Off the top of my head, no, but I'll find something. What do you got?
I've got a riddle. It's a
Mm,
multi-part riddle. How much is a pie in Jamaica?
250.
You're right. It's 250 in Jamaica. How much is a pie in the Bahamas?
$2.
It's actually 3, but that's okay. So pie in Jamaica is $2.50. Pie in Bahamas is $3. These are the pie rates of the Caribbean.
I heard it in reverse, but yeah, the pirates of the Caribbean.
What are the pirates of the Caribbean? 250 in Jamaica and $3 in the Bahamas. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Womp womp. Also, speaking of doctors and surgery before, during, and after COVID, medical malpractice is way more likely to kill you than oh my god, lung AIDS. Lung AIDS, I fucking love it.
Well, yeah,
I
literally.
got a good joke. Joe Biden ripped off the "You Got Back Up" line from a movie. I don't even watch Joe Biden anymore. Just the debate, man. That was a fucking mess. Sorry, you were saying something.
I wasn't.
Okay. You're drunk. I'm
No,
high.
I'm never really saying anything. Like,
No, you're saying lots. But I thought you were just saying something when I was reading Squid Kindred's comment.
words come out of my mouth, but do they mean anything?
Oh, they mean plenty. You're more articulate than me. I just ramble. I've been rambling tonight. You can see I've got Chinese eyes. I'm so high. Anyway.
Do I have a joke? Do I have a funny thing? I always try. Like, I always have one 2 days before and then forget it. And then, like, while we're here, we're on the line, and I'm like, no, I totally forgot. The joke is over. Let me check my notes. I might have something in notes for a joke.
This is becoming the joke.
Don't even joke about the joke becoming the joke.
Okay, guys, I'm about to play Crab Champions. That sounds like fun. Okay, awesome. Thanks, Squid. Thanks for popping in. You don't want to stick around for his joke?
They're not jokes, but they
All right.
are funny things. Like,
Okay.
so did you know when I was a kid, I loved the movie Searching for Bobby Fischer.
Okay.
But now Bobby Fischer has become a raging anti-Semite. So they literally changed the name of the movie. I don't know. I don't remember the name of the movie now.
They did?
But they removed the title "Searching for Bobby Fischer" and they called it something else. Is it like
Search?
All the Right Moves or the right move? Something to do with moving pieces.
That's ridiculous. So Bobby Fischer is a chess phenom, and it's all Searching for Bobby Fischer is all about isn't it about a kid who's looking for this chess phenom? He's trying to find him.
It's about Josh Waitzkin, who's the youngest American champion of all time, one of the youngest grandmasters of all time, and how he was inspired by Bobby Fischer's play. But Bobby Fischer came out on the scene, dominated everything, and then fucked off. Just
disappeared.
But when he came back, he was a raging anti-Semite.
That's hilarious.
And now they're
Jewish.
What's
Was
that?
the little kid Jewish?
No.
Oh. Did he find Bobby Fischer in the movie?
No.
Oh,
but that's not Searching for Bobby Fischer and searching for the way he learned to play chess and the way he, went at the game.
Because that would have been a good twist. That would have been a good twist. Little kid searching for Bobby Fischer.
It turns out he's right.
Finds Bobby Fischer. He's like, oh my god, I'm so inspired by you. And he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm Bobby
The
Fish. I'm a
Jews,
great
kiddo.
And he's like, "What's your name, kid?" "I'm Saul Rosenberg." Get the fuck out of here, kid! I'll fucking break your fucking head. Oh,
Okay,
shit. Anyway,
and this is not a joke, but it's a fun story. I might have told it before. So this girl is with this guy, and he's great, and they're getting along so wonderfully, and
yeah,
having fantastic athletic sex. But she's got a foul mouth, and she likes foul mouth, and she just wants him to talk dirty, like maybe be a little degrading and stuff. And it's not really his thing,
right.
right? But she's like, yeah, just like all the stuff you're doing, but maybe pull my hair, smack my ass, and call me names. And he's like, okay. It's not for him. It's not his thing. He's trying real hard. Like he wants to, some people are more foul mouthed. Like I cuss like a sailor.
Sure.
You're very clean.
No,
It's
I'm
not always doesn't come natural to everyone.
Right.
And he's trying. He wants to please his woman, right? And she's telling the story. But yeah, so he's doing those things. He's being a little rough, and she's loving it. And she's like, yeah, talk to me, tell me, yeah, degrade me. And what comes out of this kid's mouth is, yeah, you like that, you fucking retard?
Oh, my throat. Hold on a sec. Oh shit, that's fucking hilarious. And how did she respond?
So not
She's like, "That's not funny."
not a proper joke, but
That's fucking hilarious. I had to mute my mic because I was fucking laughing so hard. My cough sounded terrible. Anyway, that was hilarious, man. Better than my old joke, the Pirates of Caribbean. We're
I
gonna
like
call it.
that one. Sell it short.
We're gonna call it a
Real
night,
good.
folks. Once again, I'm going to. I want to promote this event that's happening on Canada Day. If you're in Canada
Yeah.
and near one of these major cities that's doing it, you should go out. You should go. Where is it here? You should go to one of these protests. So right now, confirmed locations are Kingston, Montreal, Kitchener, Ottawa, Toronto, Edmonton, Calgary, Vancouver, and then unconfirmed, possibly in St. John's, Halifax, Fredericton, Quebec City, Winnipeg, Charlottetown, Regina, and Victoria. And that's happening on Canada Day, 11 a.m. local time. And basically, yeah, go out there and protest against the government's terrible track record when it comes to immigration. Canada Man's going to be at the Toronto one, apparently. Irving Twin and myself are going to show up, so that should be fun. And yeah, if you want more information, go to takebackcanada.info. That's takebackcanada.info. And with that, I think it's time we called it a night. Any last words, Mr. Twin?
Oh. Innocence has no resistance against the wicked counselor such as I. Shall I lead you to my parlor? Poison offers disguised in just your size.
I don't know what that's from. It's a song lyric, but I don't know what it's from.
It's a great song lyric. Great song too.
What song is it?
Scumbag Blues. Them Crooked Vultures.
All right, I'll look it up. And my my song lyric for the night in honor of Canada Day is "Take off to the Great White North. Take off. It's a beauty way to go." Good night, everybody.
Hell Sigmar.